Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures, little change once again this morning, coming off record-setting performance to kick off the week. If you remember yesterday, we had both the S&P and NASDAQ back in record-high territory to start off the new week. We're watching some of the bank shares this morning moving higher in the pre-market once again, coming off the stress test that they passed with flying colors last week. There's news regarding Morgan Stanley announcing a big stock buyback coming in the near future, and also an increase to their dividends. We'll have a look at MS. Shares of recent fintech SPAC conversion, SoFi higher again in the pre-market after yesterday afternoon's big rally. And we'll have a look at Facebook. Again, that court decision going their way. What a move. That was late in the session yesterday as well to record high territory for Facebook, helping to lift the overall NASDAQ. It's Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. I'll look at North American markets at this point. As I mentioned, a little change to kick things off this morning. The Dow exactly flat at this point. You can see TSX futures here in Toronto. Same story, exactly flat. A little bit of negativity at the bottom end of the board again. Crude oil lower. We have Bitcoin lower. Ethereum down about a full percent to start things off again this morning as well. An interesting day setting up. Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday. We have lots to discuss, including some of these banks moving around in the pre-market. There's a few new, should we say new squeeze stocks to talk about. XELA moving, that Marin back on the run again as well.
Any of those.
And all these stocks we were talking about late in the day yesterday as well, making moves again here, guys, in the pre-market. SoFi, one of those. Nice look here so far.
Yeah, SoFi on the run to the upside. I just watched. You mentioned some of those, I guess, new squeeze names. Zila being one. It's starting to come back in. Marin, on the other hand, which you guys would have been following in yesterday's action, that is still looking relatively strong. Man, we talked that $8 was like there was air from like 6 to 8 in terms of significant levels. Now we're gapping above that $8 right into $10 this morning. Should be another wild day. I mean, I'm already trading in this B square, which is up again. We actually traded this I feel like it was maybe a month or so ago, or maybe a couple of months ago. Time does fly when you're having fun, and when you're in the markets, there's a lot of fun to be had. Overall market, pretty muted, so got to be all about those movers. That Facebook's going to be in there. Let's not forget about NVIDIA as well. Again, brushing to that 800, but then resisting it as well. So it's going to be a fun day, as it always is. We'll run down the entire list of the movers and shakers and see if we can't get some winners for you out there today. And I just got a note here, man. I just saw Randy of all. So Randy didn't say what he was wearing yesterday for those that were asking, but he did confirm he was, I think it was like just a shorts and a t-shirt. So Trader TV Randy was mowing his lawn. That was the answer to the question. He wasn't here. Today, he is here, Sean.
Yeah, he's in the building. That's what we were talking about yesterday. I did want to say, I'm just responding to some tweets now because thank you so much, guys. Yesterday in the afternoon, people asking me for swing play. I said SoFi. I'm in this name. We talked about that yesterday, and that's why we're doing a little fist pump as we open the show there because, long $19 yesterday. Talked about that on the show. You could have even got lower, depending where you got it, of course. And then we hold it yesterday into today for a nice little 5% return on your money with SoFi. So that's a good one there. Yeah, welcome, guys. It's going to be another big show. The sticky note is up. Follow us at Trader TV. You can find that one up now, right now. Sticky notes up. Yours truly. Yesterday was a pretty good day for it. Today we have a whole bunch of names on there, including that big one yesterday, Brendan. We did hit Facebook pretty hard yesterday in the afternoon and had this from 354. Oh, my trades were there a second ago, but we went, that's still SoFi. We went long right in here, 354 yesterday. It was late on the move, or was it? I don't remember where it was. At 354 all the way to the top, 358. We had top tick yesterday. We'll look to take out that 358 today.
Yeah, going to be interesting for Facebook, set to maybe open in record high territory. Let's start things off with a look at the top 10 traders list from here at Day Trade the World from busy Monday. You can see Chicago, the CME, some futures action there. NASDAQ New York, number one, 37,000 and change. A whole bunch of markets here. Number 2, 36,000. NASDAQ New York, number 3, 17,000. Same story all the way down to number 7. Some European action down here, number 8, 5,840. So lots of opportunities remain in this market, guys. Let's start things off as well by heading over to the desk and saying good morning to Miss B.
Good morning, guys, and welcome back, everyone. I wish you a beautiful, profitable day. Please enjoy the show and don't forget to like this video. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. I want to talk a little bit about some, not necessarily new squeeze stocks, because there's a lot of the traditional ones that are moving around here once again in the pre-market, guys. But it seems like almost on a daily basis, this volume is kind of shifting from name to name to name. We're seeing today this Xela Technologies, XELA, among the leaders in the pre-market here.
Yeah, and look, it's Xela. It did have the 7 a.m. bump as well, so when retail came in and sort of gave it another leg to the upside. Look, this momentum play, it's a little bit different, I think, in terms of what's changing. And you're going to see a lot of small cap names or low float names and moderate to decent short, short float names start to come into play here. But it's off of these interesting consolidations. So you'll have a stock which has already made a couple of runs to the upside and a sharp retracement. So there's nothing abnormal there. But then you get this level of support that eventually forms. Now, this was originally broken at 150, but then makes another one here at 125. And then you're essentially playing a breakout. And when you have a setup like this, it actually gives some more room to run. I mean, the stock has support behind it. So anyone that ends up buying it, it gets in the range of 2 today, or when this sort of started out in yesterday's action on day one early on and something like this, you have a lot of cover here. And I think, buying it 2 and saying, oh, I'm risking to $1.50, $1.25, and this one can go to the moon. It's a different risk to reward than, say picking something up which you think could get cut by 80% or whatever ridiculous number you can throw out there for something like an AMC. So Xela is going to be on the radar. I originally said to myself, I don't usually short in the pre-market the WSB ones here, even if it looks like a decent setup. And I'll tell you, it did present that down here at 225 when it failed at 250. I kind of said to myself, okay, well, this looks pretty decent here at this 225 level. If it rolls over from there, I'd normally be sitting in it. But I kind of want to stay on the other side of these today if I can. That's with Xela. MRIN could be different at that $10 level, especially if we tested today. But the newcomer, Xela, doing 21 million plus in pre-market volume. I know it's a cheap stock, but it will be an active one today.
Thanks, Brian, there mentioning Cardano's at 142. Yep. So we'll walk on water for that one. Also, guys, right here, just to let you know, so this is the sticky note here. I forgot to tag Sticky Note Society, but we just did add. So we're going to trade AMC today, adding AMC through the high here of 59.50. So we just added that. We'll put that copy into the tweets or into our chats. You guys can see that right now as well. Look, I mean, yesterday we only hit AMC one time. We hit it right here once it broke through 58, right there, that high, that sort of that. Not a pre-market high, but it was that first moves high we waited for. We missed this. That's the thing. Yesterday, should have had this pre-market break at 56.50, right? So today, you're right here at 59.50. So great hold for all the apes out there watching the show. Great hold for you guys, man. Up that another 2% today. AMC looks like it's rocking and rolling. And then in yesterday's video, I talked about, possibly releasing some more shares. But of course, that needs to be voted on. And I don't think the shareholders are going to vote to offer more shares. So that was a little bit of a mistake on that one. There's so many shares in retail hands now that I think that vote doesn't even happen. So 59.50, there is something in 2022, but that's not going to affect the price right now. I like this 59.50, man. Straight upside here on AMC. Let's see if it gets going. I think it does. Quick look on the imbalance locator before we throw it back. Absolutely nothing. NEO here has a small sell. Remember, the NASDAQ starting to head downside. So someone just asked me on that tweet, what do I think about NEO? And I was mentioning, if my chart changes, that we could probably get back into this area, 48. So if you want to play NEO today, I think you got to watch that 48 level, Brendan.
Let's talk about Palantir here a little bit as well. There was a minor headline I'll show you in a second, but Palantir, I mean, this run has been pretty amazing on the daily chart. We've gone, 17 to 27, kind of hanging out here above 27 this morning within yesterday's range, but I'll point this out. This connected vehicle data startup, Wejo, partners with Microsoft and Palantir. So, I mean, more of a tech partnership, not necessarily another contract or anything of that sort as far as Palantir is concerned, but the positive momentum continues, guys, for PLTR.
I mean, look, Palantir doesn't need, really anything to happen except for just continued, optimism in these growth area, right? I mean, you've seen a lot of stocks get bumped up. You saw that ARC now back to its highs as well. So, as long as the market wants to focus on growth stocks, I believe Palantir is a mix of both growth and value. I mean, there's a super old, we talked about, they're a 19-year-old company and big run up. You nailed it on the daily. I mean, I've been, again, there's not another call that I'm more proud of. Maybe the NVIDIA 600 call has been great too, but this 1850 is great. There's been a great call down here. Look at the daily. I mean, there's not, besides Zoom and DocuSign, two other plays that we gave you, I don't think that there's a better chart than that right now. So we are getting into that area though. Yesterday on the show, we were talked a couple times about what do you think about $30 calls? What do you think about these levels? I've been calling this level here, which now we're only a buck away, like 28, 29. I've been calling that when we were down here, right? People called me crazy to make that call. When I was saying like by the summertime, we get back to 30. Like that's almost 60%, 70% from where I bought it, right? So that's in about 1 month. So we'll wait to see here if we get up to those levels. I like a 28 break, but it just has to get there first. And then I just wonder if we sort of stop and go here at 30. So let's just see the momentum. These stocks really aren't supposed to run like this into the summer. So it's been really a good time for us. Today, it's on our notes. We're going to get long back through 27. So my orders are already there. You'll see me yesterday was one of my #1 stocks. So we'll just keep on doing this kind of stuff with Palantir, and hopefully the money just keeps on flying in. It's probably been the best name on this desk, on the show for 2021 probably. So Palantir, nice little move to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, I still look at that level, these 25s and 50 levels on Palantir, which is essentially what the entire trade was. 27 even, which was the break from Friday, and then right to 2025, and then to 27.50. What stands out, of course, on the daily chart is going to be that 75 to 80 mark. I think that's where the short-term resistance is. So that's probably the only place there's going to be a pullback. When it does these gradual moves up, I don't think there's a short trade in there usually. Usually you want something going parabolic or really sort of overbought into a heavy little short idea. So I'm just going to stick to the plan when it comes to those evens, and then maybe consider not taking a 27.75 break if that does come out. I'm not going to like it too much on a dip. This entire cluster looks pretty good from about 26.30 into like 26.70. So somewhere in that range on a kind of dip. I have a little bit of a tingling, and I came in today for whatever reason feeling a little bit more bearish on some of the names I was looking at here today, thinking, yeah, I mean, Tesla was in a spot that it might want to try to give back a little bit today, and there could be some pullbacks in the market. We're kind of flat on the session here, so I don't know what it is. I mean, on the meme stocks, they all seem like they're going to be running here, and I actually think Virgin Galactic could catch a bid today potentially, but I don't know, something weird about this one. I actually am expecting to buy the dip instead of a breakout on Palantir.
Okay, a little late to the party here for Orphazyme this morning, guys, but Orf just popping back up 10%. Just went from 7 to 8. All I see is that patent. I just threw it in the chat there. They were awarded a patent for one of the treatments they're working on. But big pop here, guys, for Orf. Yeah, remember this day last week we got up to 78, or I guess it was a couple of weeks ago now, but this thing chopped around between 20 and 10 last week. So Orphazyme, an exciting name, one to watch today, possibly.
Yeah, well, let's see if it can actually sustain through this 825. I mean, it just made like 2 big failures at $9 in last week's action, right? Like you had the gap back up and made another strong move trying to recover here, and then you're going to get a fail at 9. You still see the trend, and it did put in technically lower low if you're going to count the pre-market action here. I know we haven't closed below that 720 mark, but that would have been this floor here at 720, so you get the bust out through there, and the question is, can it take out this 820 area? And if it can't, then you haven't really broken this trend, and you're probably going to retest that 720. So for Orf, It just popped up on the radar, but the volume is fantastic. I want to be looking right smack dab at that 820 at 9:30. Sorry, that 820 level at 9:30 when the open comes in here. And you could roll into a bit of a short. Now it's actually pretty close. It's actually sitting in the high 90s right here. Not a bad place or an area to test, but it's at 820 to 825 that I think I don't want to let that one go if you're going to be shorting in front of it. There is some room to the upside on a break because 9's the other level last week where it failed.
Yeah, we're going to go long. So we're going to go long through 805 and then just wait to see $20, $30 next stop. So, or if we're going to go long on this one. We've seen it already explode numerous times. So right here, bang, bang, bang. We'll see. Next stop, $21. Now, I have no idea where it's going to go, but we are going to take this long through this 805 break. It's happening right now. We just tweeted it out, guys.
Let's talk about the banks. We're going to get into some charts coming up here in the next few minutes or so, but let's talk about these banks from a whole. I mean, we had the story at the end of last week, the stress test passed with flying colors. So we're seeing some buybacks announced. We're seeing some dividend increases announced. We're seeing definite continued strength, guys, for the big banks coming off of yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of Citigroup. Citigroup didn't change their dividend at all. I mean, our daily charts stink, but anyways, for Morgan Stanley and for some of the other banks. But you get a big move up in Morgan because they did a 100% increase on their dividend. Wells Fargo, because they were one of the few banks that actually had to last year decrease. When they increased by 100%, Wells Fargo was not nearly the same reaction because everyone was expecting it. So the real winner in stock price ended up being Morgan Stanley. So happy to see that. I do feel like you could. I mean, it's kind of a muted response here. Like, we're not necessarily trading through the highs or breaking out on something like a Morgan Stanley on the daily chart here, guys. You just have to get through like an 89. And I think one of the interesting things about the banks is you have J.P. Morgan coming out and making another fintech purchase. So while there's disruption across the board due to fintech, at least J.P. Morgan's doing something about it. They just picked up another one of those, I guess, ESG, app companies, which is a good look for them. At least you're seeing them react. Even if it's a little bit late, they're reacting to the disruption in fintech. So JP didn't move because the thing was like only 11% increase on their dividend, which was, I guess, not enough to move the needle there. But I think for the long term, they're making some good moves there. And on any weakness that sells on the news, I think there's an opportunity in like a JPM. I kind of feel like Morgan, this is probably not going to get them to 95. The banks look like they're going to be more of a hold here because we got what we expected. It didn't blow anybody out of the water.
Yeah, banks are on the watch list already. So we already took out half of ORF there at 20. So a nice little trade there, 5 to 20, 15 cents. And now we'll put the rest in our pocket and see if we can't get this thing to go up even more and more and more. Look, I've been a huge buyer of banks, both Canadian banks, U.S. banks. Not only that, Neil just mentioned, this chart's not working. Neil mentioned that about, getting into fintech and stuff like that. This is why, like my call, you guys know PayPal was the call of the year for 2020. I'm into PaySafe, I'm into SoFi now. I love fintech. I bought Square on every single dip. JP Morgan really screwed up by not getting PayPal and getting Square at a much, and that's one of Jamie Dimon's biggest regrets, right? Is not buying out one of those companies earlier. I mean, I don't think you could have got Square, but you could have got PayPal. I don't know if Jack Dorsey would have given it up, but maybe he would have. And it was public company, you could have just took it over. But anyways, the point is that JP Morgan finally, this is the only bank that I own on the US side of things. I think it's the best bank that there is. I think it's the best name to hold. I would hold this or Goldman Sachs over any of the other ones. I think WFC does have a lot of room to play catch up and probably the best from a value base, but I like JP Morgan here and it's on my list. I just said we're gonna buy any dips. Obviously we gotta, I can't show the chart. We have these dark pools down here. Got to get rid of those. But I think you buy JP Morgan on any dip, guys, and that's going to be my plan. And you can find everything on the sticky note.
Throw a little one at you here, guys. Purple, the mattress maker, just popped up. Looks like they've withdrawn their full year forecast. So PRPL down 8.7%. I only mention this because I'm actually kind of interested if A, anyone actually owns one of these, and B, what they think of it, because for the most part, I have a very negative outlook on memory foam. I'm not sure if you can consider this memory foam mattresses, guys. This is that, it's kind of like an egg carton, or it's like a grid instead of just normal memory foam. But PRPL, the mattress maker, to the downside, 8.7% today.
As with many things, Brennan, you know a heck of a lot more about mattresses than I do. So look, it's moving, which is going to be interesting for us today. Although the volume is light, but I can't say anything regarding the product per se. But If you were to look at like both trend breaks and then clear momentum to the downside and then level breaks down, like I think you'd have all that in one chart with that PRPL. But it's done like 50,000 shares worth of pre-market volume. You can kind of see right here, and we've retraced now. But this 2380 level breakdown, 10% down, which means the short sell restricted on the stock doing zero volume and 37-cent spread I just saw. Yeah, big spread on the stock, and that 2370 level, which does, I guess, loom for potential, I guess, to break down there again here, maybe even like a 2450. That all looks pretty good on the chart to play the weakness here, but without the volume, I think you'd be in a little bit of trouble paying down too much, especially the fact that you have to chase when it's short sell restricted can make that one tricky. So usually you want to sell into strength in a situation like that, or what little strength it might have. But I can't say I know anything about that mattress there, Breno.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know that they're very popular mattresses, and let's go over to Brendan because I don't give anything about purple.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a mixed result there, but thank you, everyone, for your opinions. Here we go. Upgrades, downgrades for today, guys. GM on here, top of the list so far on the upgrade side. First Energy as well. This Corvo at the bottom, still 2% to the upside. Was a little bit higher early on. Tesla, UBS guys, getting a price target decrease for Tesla. First time in as long as I can remember. Tesla on the downgrade side, and Carvana at the top for downgrades, guys.
Angel, why is Angel, there we go, a few new members popping in here. Angel F, I'm so lost, I can't say we are live. Well, I can. We are live right now. So as far as I know, we are live, and I hope you are as well. If the feed is delayed at all for you, Angel, my man, please, let's just refresh your browser.
Refresh your browser. Yeah.
And today, of course, I'm seeing a couple new members. You'll notice it's members only on the chat today, so we'll see how that goes. And thank you guys for continuing to support us. Miss V is going to have your back on the chat today as I continue to wonder why we're talking about purple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but the Tesla downgrade is actually I don't think I'm not too surprised about it, to be perfectly honest with you. There are going to be some, anytime you get a bump in a stock, which is maybe broken a trend, right? And you've got a little bit of a bump in the last couple of days. Sometimes you see like just adjustments get made when the stock starts to move a little bit here, and there could be a little bit of catch up, and that could have been something they were considering, maybe like weeks or months ago. There's some delivery numbers that are going to come through, and expected to be record deliveries for Tesla. So it'd be nice to be able to catch it back at that 635 price, but you never really do know about it. It's one that I want to be watching today because it's been a good stock for us recently, in the last few sessions. I don't trade it every single day, but usually when it gives you setup, it's fantastic. We still have not broken that 700 on Tesla. And then today, like I said, I had this feeling, and I'm looking at this 680 level, 680 to 685. And it just feels like if we roll back through, you get that lower high, consistent 694. We talked about that yesterday. Had one small short off that level around 91 when it rolled over. Should have held on to it, but didn't. So that 694, like if we're not at least testing that today and potentially breaking it and making a run at 700, it's hard to imagine that there's not going to be a short in those 80s that at least gets you back to the 666, you know what I'm going to say, that 666 level or so. So Tesla, market flat, but this could be like a little bit of a pullback that gives you an opportunity. As a day trade, I don't want to ignore the short opportunity if it's there. I haven't shorted Tesla literally at 9:30 in quite some time. I don't know that that's what I would like to put on. I'd much rather catch something like 10, 10:30, a little bit later on in the day when I've had some success doing shorts in Tesla.
Let's jump into what is moving around in the pre-market, guys. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you head over to that link and grab our absolutely free morning note that we send out every morning before we come in and come on for you at 8:30. So that's the link that you need to visit and register. If you need that again, ask Ms. V. She'll set you up nicely in the chat. The first one we'll talk about, guys, Facebook. It popped up yesterday after that court ruling came out, and I mean, a judge basically dismissed the FTC case or antitrust case against Facebook, said, come back with another one if you can do it better. If not, go away. Because Facebook, guys, back to almost record high territory here in the pre-market.
Yeah, and the one thing that they did say about that is like come back when you got better goods on it. And I think the reality is I don't know that the case is going away in particular, because at the end of the day, government agencies and prosecutors don't like to get embarrassed, so they're probably not going to give up. They'll probably try to come back and strengthen their case. Whether they're successful, who knows? The only thing that I suppose went their way was the simple fact that they did have the ability to retroactively look at some acquisitions. But because the case got thrown out and said, hey, you didn't prove that it was a monopoly, so it doesn't necessarily affect anything. But if they were to strengthen the case, some of that would still be in question. So at least it's in theory on the table for all that breakup that everyone's wanted or potentially talked about there. That in theory is still on the table, although clearly it's a net win regardless here for Facebook. It's pretty light pre-market volume, but that'll happen here when we're essentially looking at air and the market's not doing anything. So it's at that all-time high, and you're looking at this 360 level. I kind of feel like you got to love a floor in and around what was the previous clusters at like in front of that 340. So I'm talking like probably like a 345 area. If I don't know if that like. I'm not saying a sell-off's coming. I'm just saying if there's like at least a little bit of a sell off the open, I think I'd be looking back at like a 345 on Facebook. Other than that, let's let the momentum play out here. Not a ton of activity here in the pre-market, and I don't think this will probably get anywhere. Even though the story's not going anywhere, I don't think there's any major developments in the near term at all.
Look, man, we've made tons of money on Facebook. This has just been another one of the calls that we've been absolutely crushing. We'll be taking this out here. This is a major move for Facebook. They're one of the largest big tech, mega cap tech stocks that are trading at a reasonable PE anyways. Facebook goes a lot higher than this. It's just amazing that, they said that, hey, why did you bring us this Instagram problem and WhatsApp problem like 20 years, 15 years after they bought Instagram, right? So Facebook actually molded Instagram and WhatsApp into new products. Not really WhatsApp, but Instagram, they took it to a whole new level. So that's not, taking something over, monopolizing anything. But the FTC here can basically come back. Look, I don't even mind if they come back in July. I mean, to be honest with you, with another thing, because then it'll just get dismissed in probably September, October, and then this thing will have a 400 handle on it. But it's going to have 400 on it anyways. So you're going to get to 400 sooner rather than later on Facebook. So buy now or buy later. If this dips back into 352, I think that's a big time buy. The only thing, so again, I'm very, very bullish, obviously, as, by the way, Orphazyme. Let's go. I told you guys, this one was, I know Neil was looking at that 820 level, but look, bang, a big move. We already got 55 cents in the money here, guys, on Orphazyme. So we're just ringing the register on this one. Let's go. Let's just keep going. Let's let this go. Thank you to all the new members today. We're doing this for you guys. A big move here for Orphazyme. Already in the money. We're already cashing out on this one. We took some out, half out there for 15 cents, which was small because we were listening and we noticed that 820 level. That was a good one. But then we hold on, and now it's a siren alert as this stock continues to make moves. But I'm liking Facebook. You can find it on the sticky note. The sticky note already has, 100 likes, retweets, comments, everything. So find the sticky note up on Twitter. We're talking all about Facebook on there. AMC, Wish is on the sticky note as well. Orphazyme was a late add to the sticky note, guys. Anyways, doesn't matter. We'll go on and on and on about that, but big time trading today. I'm gonna look to buy Facebook on any dips. Yo, what's up, Shakib the Hydrated? The energy is super clean today. All right, that's good. Been into nature this weekend. Yeah, a lot of golfing. By the way, for all you guys here, we were talking about, I got to show this quickly. For anybody that is a gardener here, this is our, we just have a small little plot here for this, but this is one zucchini plant. Yeah, thanks, man. There's so many zucchinis in here. It's ridiculous. That's one small plant. These are small tomato plants. Got the marigolds there. We got the peas growing up in here. Everything is going on here. In the back here, blueberries, raspberries. Hopefully there's no other plants in here. Okay, good. That's that picture, and we'll be tweeting that out. But hey, look, my wife kills it in the vegetable garden and all around. So thank you to her, and thank you to Fresh Food, Shakib. You got to eat properly. I know I don't need to tell you that, my friend.
Taking over the world and Sean's backyard, that zucchini plant. I had a couple people asking Sean about the relative strength of Facebook. Yes, it's not really doing a heck of a lot of volume here in the pre-market, but Maybe we should talk a little bit about the fact that this thing's holding, the top 10% of that move we saw in the afternoon yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, test to the highs possible.
Like I was saying, I don't think that move was good enough. Like I thought it should have been way bigger than that. Facebook has so many more bullets to fire. They are the #1 advertising platform for all small businesses. They're single-handedly keeping many small businesses afloat. Them and Etsy. I mean, there's so much opportunity, I believe, for Facebook. And honestly, to get just look at the daily chart. I mean, what's not to like about this? We were buyers hand over fist down here. You guys know that. We talked about it all the time. And then you talk now about relative strength. Yeah, look at it, just watching this 50 period and then saying, see ya to that 50 period. I'm going to have to find out what the PE is exactly, but it's not that expensive relative to its peers. I think Facebook continues to go higher. I've said it over and over again. I'm going to say it right now. Get your money in before it's too late on Facebook. If you want to be really, really patient with it, which I don't think you're going to get a chance unless the market collapses. And if the market collapses, then, I don't know what name is going to be safe. But down here to 330, I can't believe I'm saying 330 now. Facebook's a great buy. But, hey, if you're going to buy calls on anything, too, I love Facebook. You guys know I love Palantir. We've been big supporters of both of those companies. I'm long into SoFi now as well. Relatively strong Facebook. Not giving any of it up despite the NASDAQ. Well, I guess they're the same, despite the NASDAQ going down. So let's just wait to see. Brendan, I'm long for sure at 352.
I'll say this about, it's been true of Facebook, it's been true of Amazon, it's been true of Google as well. Every one of these that has made fresh highs has given you that retracement. The difference here is, Amazon would do it after earnings. Facebook, in this particular case, is giving you a different bit of a catalyst. And one of the things that we'll talk about, just for the day trade, because we are here to trade the name, what Brendan's sort of getting at, this 355. You see this on earnings, where it pulls back and settles down, and then it sort of get that level off. Whenever we're holding above that level, that's that bullish sign, and we're holding right above that 355. So you kind of think, okay, well, maybe if that even gets tested here, is it like a 351 because you had that other pullback price in there? I'll sit in front of a sword if something crazy happens, because I just said to you guys that I would, but you do also want to watch on the 55 break. If you like it today, look at like 352 in here just because of this little pullback action. But that's a bullish sign here in earnings. This is not an earnings play, but it's pretty similar in terms of what it looks like on the chart. So I would at least pay attention to that. I know it's not aftermarket. We're talking about a move that happened in the afternoon, but some of the same principles can apply.
All right, time for Arun. Let's bring him in and get a look at the overall market, see what we need to be aware of. Once again today, market pretty flat here, Arun, but overall the positivity continues.
Yeah, the trend, direction, and bias, whatever you want to call it, is still the same from yesterday, from late last week. It's roughly all in one direction at this point. Every time we dip, we catch some form of support, and then we take our next leg up. And that's what happened in the afternoon yesterday. We dipped down to about the 42.65 area or so. And here we are just above 80 now. I'm going to use 42.70 as my potential support level or level of a stop if I can find a long. Again, I want to see this dip. I want to see if I can catch a bid as we come down into the mid 70s, and then maybe risk 5 to 7, maybe 8 points. Try to keep the risk low, because in this kind of a market, your risk reward is going to matter so much more, because it doesn't seem like you're going to get these exciting moves right off the bat. It's not going to happen right away. It might be a grind, especially if it's to the upside. It's going to be a grind. So it gets going. We are getting closer and closer to 4,300. Tomorrow is the end of the quarter, so that might be something to keep an eye on. 4,300 with the quarter ending, that could be interesting. Again, we have a long weekend coming up, so that might provide some volume on Wednesday, Thursday. I expect Friday to be fairly quiet, because extra long weekend for anyone who wants to take that off. And once we run into summertime volume, this is going to be the normal for at least 2 months or so, until maybe mid-September, call it 3 months. This is the kind of trading you're going to have to expect. So make the adjustments now, because you know what's coming, right? So certain stocks, though, will move the indexes, specifically Facebook. We saw that move in Facebook. Facebook is one of the is at the top of the tech weights in the NASDAQ index, also near the top in the S&P. So if Facebook goes, the indexes are going to go with it. And you saw the NASDAQ index outrunning the S&P just because Facebook was taking off yesterday. So you see the relative strength in the NASDAQ index if the tech stocks specifically that are weighted high, like Facebook, Apple, if they decide to go, it will drive the indexes with it. So just be aware that relationship needs to be paid attention to, especially when you have this big of a move in one of those weights. So keep an eye on Facebook. And if you want to trade the indexes, maybe make a relative or the similar move in the indexes if you're an index trader, but do be aware of these top weights: Apple, Facebook, Microsoft. Those are at the top, and they will move these indexes.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the move continues and the rally in tech continues. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Under 30 minutes before we get the market open here for a Tuesday, guys. Let's continue along. We'll talk about the banks here coming off of the stress test last week that, once again, if you missed it, they passed with flying colors, according to the Fed. Lots of positivity around this group. There's buybacks, there's dividend increases, everything investors want to hear, guys.
Yeah, we went over a little bit here, and I think so disappointment, Citigroup. Morgan Stanley was the biggest increase. Wells Fargo had an increase, had a 100% increase in their dividend as well, but because that was basically the most expected, not moving too much. You're only up 3% on Morgan Stanley, and that's leader of the pack. And it was up a little bit more than that. You're going to get close to these like 95 highs that it tried to get to here. I'm not even sure this move has juice to get there. I think, overall, this could be, and we said this last week, that it could be sort of a muted response to this. And probably, this is a little dark pool what just went down there. It made it seem like it's back to flat, but it could be a bit of a muted response, and there could be some weakness that comes into it. Talked about the fact that, Sean's 100% right about Jamie Dimon knowing he missed the boat. I think going forward, the first thing you can do is acceptance, right? And they're making smart acquisitions. I talked about that. There's an emerging space, of course, with sustainable and ethical investing. And for them to latch onto that and pick up a popular app, which is sort of changing the game in that respect, makes a lot of sense to me, and that's good for a JPM. I buy either one of these two on strength. I like Morgan because as the disruption goes through, I love the trading aspect of it. I think they're a fantastic one. But I can't say it's a good buy here. I think you're looking for some weakness to come back into all of these names and buy on dips in the banks. And I think you're going to get ample opportunity throughout the summer to catch some bids on them.
Is this crude, by the way? Crude right now, guys. Wow. 72.30 bottom, making moves up to 73.50 and change. So, yeah, crude. What does crude look like on the daily chart? This is a big one here for crude. Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say. What is the top here? 74.50. So, again, remember I was talking about getting puts? I haven't done it yet. I haven't got puts on XOM, but I may do this now, but I can't believe, I thought oil was really going to test and break here and then retest at least this V50 period right here on the daily chart and come back to the downside. But oil, wow, a beautiful move to the upside here. Just continues to go on the daily. This kind of looks like Palantir, but oil right there. I just want to bring that to everyone's attention because I just saw it starting to spike. When I looked at it this morning, it was down here 72, and then I just had a glimpse at that 73.50 for crude. Wow, big move there. I don't have to look. I'm not a buyer of JP Morgan at these levels. I haven't added anything. I don't know if Daryl's on the chat right now, but we bought this name just like we bought Simon Property Group, at 60, like SPG. Do you want me to call up that stock? This is another name. We bought this at $60 with a 7% dividend. SPG, guys. Like you're not even going to be able to see. Like look at this bottom, guys, down here for SPG, $60. Like you gotta be a buyer down there of these stocks. And it was the same thing. Now I only called it up because it was the same thing right here. Like I'm long 80, 84, 80, 88. I don't know what my average price is down here for JP Morgan. I'm going to hold this. It's a forever hold at this point. We got to get above the 50 period, though. That's going to be a little bit concerning. I wonder if this is a true 50 period because of these wicks down here, but I don't know. This shouldn't affect it that much. But anyways, 160, we got to get above 160 before, like Neil said, I don't think we buy it at these levels, but if we could break above this little support resistance, actually, it's a little bit better than that. It's what is that, 158? Yeah, we're getting close. Yeah, right above here. Yeah, 150. Yeah, 158. So if we can get above 158, which is only $3 from now. Hey, Aunt Wood there, Myth Kathy Wood there. I just see her. 157 and change right here. We like JP Morgan, but it's got to break above. So let's call 158 buy on JP Morgan and throw it back to Brendan. Yeah,
going to be interesting to see what happens with those banks today. We'll definitely have to be strong to help this market. A lot of people talking about the next one here, guys. SoFi back on the move this morning, trying to get back to positive territory after an impressive move late in the day yesterday. It jumped up to number 1 on the Wall Street Bet sentiment list yesterday. There's a number of analysts talking very positively on SoFi. We also had that pipe lockup expiration that happened at the open yesterday. So lots of momentum, we'll say, around SoFi.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge Daryl Flinch here. Yes, so there you go, guys. He's talking about here. Yep, he's here with me, JPM's SPG. And this is just to show you, like, if you're joining us now for the very first time, like, here's a real. Daryl's been on with us a bunch of times, and here we go, man. We're both long at 60s. He knows that, and there is the justification there. So, that, like I said, unlike other traders, guys, like, I'm going to sit here and give you calls at certain levels, and I'm glad that Daryl did hit that with us. So thank you so much, Daryl, on that one. And then, again, to pat ourselves on the back just one more time, because, hey, you know, when we're in this business to make money, right? You guys asked yesterday for swing trades. I even told you on last Friday that I was buying, and I did buy. I shared the buy. So right here, 1860 or 1890, I'm long, which is not a great price. You could have got a lot lower yesterday. Went down to 1770 or so, yesterday. So you could have got a better buy. Today, SoFi lockup, the pipe lockup, Brendan was explaining to me, gone. And then now we just wait for analyst upgrades. SoFi to the moon, now up 6%. This was a swing trade that I gave yesterday. So welcome to 6+% if you got it. And I want to go long on SoFi all day, every day. It is right here on the list, on this sticky note, 21 break. So let's wait to see if that can happen. And again, why 21? It's just right here. It's the day before the day that we all had an opportunity to make a lot of money. So you could have bought this down here at 1850. It's the day that sort of started to happen. So let's see if we can get back above 21. It's looking like it. But, like, are we that right? Like, you know, like, is it that easy to buy SoFi yesterday and cash it out at like 21, 22 today? I don't know. I'm excited for it. I already think the 6% is quite large, but we will wait for pullbacks and then take that break, no problem. And I'm really glad we just talked about oil, guys, because look at that. I mean, look at that move right there. That's a clean 50 cents there since taking out that top that I was looking at. So I'm not in it, but there's a nice little move there on oil.
I think we got to watch, like, in particular on SoFi, 2080 to 21. And this was a big-time support cluster that got broken down. And we saw that live, and we were like, what's going on with SoFi on Friday? And I think there was certainly it was more downside action than anticipated, but that's going to be that key level. I mean, don't fight Wall Street bets is usually the way I would go for it on the gap up plays, and it's only 6% for now. But it looks very, very enticing in front of 19. And our charts don't always show like the trades we made here, but there were good dip pullback trades in front of that 19. That's what we put on. That's what we put on yesterday. If it gets into that range again, I think that's where the floor you want to be dealing with. Close at a 19.25, so you have an entire quarter worth of range there in front of that one. And then 2080 to 2010. I just feel like there should be a little bit of resistance through that price. If you get some chop and then a break through there, you're looking for the top end of 21, not that 2080. And then for a rollover trade, maybe at 930. Although I think there's better targets for that. That 2080 range, if it gets in there, can't take 21. That's where I think you would see that sort of a 930 pullback, which we've seen so very often in some of these gap ups, Brendan.
We missed some of the initial moves yesterday right off the open in some of the solar stocks. Not going to be the case today. I put the entire group on the list here, guys. CSIQ, for example, up another 5% in the pre-market here after this impressive looking chart happened yesterday. So, I mean, this is all tied back to the infrastructure deal. The news came from Washington last week, obviously, a whole bunch of money going towards clean energy, including some of these solar companies. So CSIQ, I mean, we can pick one here. There's First Solar, there's that Sunrun, there's SPWR, lots to look at, but very positive around these.
Yeah, I was having a look at Sunrun. I know this was a good one, and we had a trade on this a couple weeks ago when it started to make that big move in this little break of the 50 period. You get above that 48 level. It's starting to get into what was some resistance, and again, this is not tremendous amount of volume. I just like the way this one was setting up on the charts. You have some obvious resistance levels if it breaks through at 65, and then you're right in here at that 58 level. So you've kind of made that it's not an out of control or parabolic move up. It's been a steady climb, but and putting up to 15 minutes so that you can quickly notice there's been some pretty heavy drops off consolidation before taking out the next level, right? So it'll make a run, consolidates. Actually was a decent consolidation off 53, and then a sharp pullback. You get the breakout, and this was all in one day, and then you get the big fall, and then you have a longer move upside here, and it has not really had that that big sort of wipeout fall, and that's why when you come in and look at this on the daily at this 58 level, you kind of think to yourself, if we cannot take out 59, current 58.83 I have as a pre-market high here, if this doesn't get taken out at the open, Sunrun feels like to me it's back at this 55 and a half. So I want to have this one up at the open. I said there might be some other opportunities for rollover trades that aren't necessarily fighting directly against a daily Wall Street best type of idea here. But you're looking at Sunrun here, and I think if it just fails right at 9:30 to take out a new high, this is not the same as that NTLA that we're looking at yesterday, because that was gapping up like 30-40%, and that's or 50% of the time. It's a big retracement type idea. This is a more muted move up, but it is into resistance, and that does set up here that if we don't get through 59, you like a short, and you don't want to chase it too far, like 58.50, maybe the quarters as far as you want to go there. Give it stop to the high of the day, and then see if we can't break through pre-market low, and then through yesterday's close prices, support afternoon 57. And once you're through those two levels, you're probably all the way down that 55, 56. So Sunrun, I think possibly due for a healthy correction, but the other side of that, of course, is if you just break out at that 59 at the open, 65 is the next clean level. So it's a big level here for Sunrun.
Squeeze stocks back on watch again, obviously. A lot of them to get through this morning as well. We had AMC just kind of lagging again as far as volume is concerned at the end of the day yesterday. A few of the other ones taking over as far as popularity is concerned. This XELA, though, it's hard to avoid when this thing's done, what is it now, 28 million shares this time in the pre-market, 50% for XELA here.
It's a lot of volume, and in fairness, MRIN MRIN's a $9 stock. It's done like almost 12 or over 12 million shares. So really, relatively speaking, it might be doing more volume. I usually would be in this short. Right now, it's 9:15. I would usually be sitting in something when it breaks down this 225 level. Like I'd probably be shorting this the next time it makes a bit of a test up. Now, it did not trade down to 180. Those were some dark pool prints. But you're going to see it put in a bit of a bid here at $2 and start to ramp back upside. And one of the things we talked about is just the pure momentum when you get a breakout, like Wall Street bets or not. This is something that now you probably can put in like a 150 to 160 type of floor, which is going to embolden any long positions here because they look at the downside and say, well, where's your next level? We break 260. What are we talking about? $4 in terms of like a price that really concerns you on the chart. The momentum will look fantastic if it starts holding a level like a 150 or 160 on any kind of deep retracement. So I think this is more of a scalp trade today on Zila, whereas MRIN, which you guys know from yesterday was wild, has already put in a much larger range in the pre-market into that downside, failing at $10 and then dropping essentially 15%. Before making another high. And if you look at this, it's already broken that 8 level that we talked about in yesterday's action, extending through to 10. So there's a huge opportunity here, I think, in MRIN in both directions. And playing that for a 10 break, fair enough, we can revisit that one later. But if this rolls over, suddenly it's a little bit safer. I think a little bit safer of an opportunity, risk to reward, catching short in MRIN, even if it's super strong, as opposed to that Zila, which I'd almost like to see test the high of the day first. MRIN's already broken through multiple levels to the upside. There's probably more room for it to fall if it does do so. And then you look back to that 8 that we talked about as the first level of support if it comes back to the downside. And there's lots of room to that support level.
We just went and got some fruit salad. So, there you go, Shakib. More fruit salad. So it's very, very nice spread today. I actually put on the top a little strawberries, everything's up in here, melon, everything. We're going good here with that blueberries. Blueberries, what I was looking at. Okay, ORF. So we've already got the squeeze play here. ORF is on already through $8, man. We already got this one. So I'm not even looking at the other ones. I'll leave those to Neil. $8, a big banger here. We'll see if it can take out the top here. What is it, 865, 870. So the only crazy stocks like that I'm going to look at is this one, ORF, because we're already in it, and that's already a banger, so we'll already do a flip for that one. And then we will, kiwi is the fruit there, obviously. And then 870 at the top, that's the ones I like. And then obviously AMC, I really like this play as well. Through 59.50, I believe we added it to our sticky note. Let me just double check there. I think yeah, there it is. So we added, yeah, here we go. So we added AMC 5950 here. It's on the sticky note. You can find that. I'll paste that and give that to you guys. But that's my little look there. I like this play through 5950. We only had one play yesterday on AMC, and it was a break of this 58 level, went to the upside. We got out right away, and then it bounced off that 5950. And if you took the pre-market break high yesterday of 5650, then you're laughing for about $2 or $3. So I'm going to see if the same thing can happen today. I don't think the play is done yet on AMC. And if you're going to trade something, I would look at AMC or ORF today for my two squeeze play names.
We talked about Tesla a little bit early on. Let's revisit here. We had UBS cutting their price target by 10% on Tesla today. And then on the flip side, Credit Suisse comes out and talks about how June deliveries, guys, could be a record number for Tesla. So we are negative overall in the morning, but important levels, to say the least, here around this area for Tesla.
Yeah, like this is, look, it's a big test for Tesla here. If the delivery numbers do blow out of the water, like maybe cracking like 200K or so, then you're going to test that 700. There's almost no question about that. I think the downgrade, you kind of already went over this a little bit, but I think the downgrade could give it an opportunity in, for now, what is a bit of a flat market here, that you might see a bit of a downturn. I mean, but man, there's so much that's looking actually strong on the other end of it, because we just saw 36 break on Bitcoin there. And then Sean talking about oil as well. So we just got positive on the ES and testing the high. I don't necessarily want to walk back the thesis, but the breakouts to me are, if you take 94, which was a great level, and you know, anytime you get like a double fail break at 94 and it's some good shorts, I'd usually be all over like a 94 break, but that 700 is the big one that's going to stand out, and that's the one I want to wait for a breakout trade instead of 94. I'd probably be thinking about, if it does fail at 94, taking a bit of a short test on Tesla. Always put on the pink shorts and tread lightly if you want to short this name, although it's been easier to do in 2021, that's for sure. If there is a dip, yeah, you can pretty much understand that 665, 66, 666 is an area that I'm going to like. It stands out in the chart, but I've liked that price because Tesla seems to have some kind of a memory around it. And we kind of skipped, and I want to just quickly say on Virgin Galactic, it has been coming. It was a huge flush yesterday. Big time missed opportunity after it was a failure to get to that 62.80 all-time high. But you look at 52 here, pull back on Friday, held 52 in the afternoon. That was the bottom in yesterday's action. You got a pre-market level here at that same 52. So let's put up or shut up. If Virgin Galactic takes that level out, I think it's got a little bit of a flush in it again today, right down to like 46 to like 49, somewhere in this cluster. It's a wide range, but the stock went so far that you have to consider it's going to be hard to pick a bottom. So 52 breakdown, if it catches a bid off that level, like a fail break idea, I think it has a chance for another jailbreak on the upside. So if it does that break, can't get through like 51, you're probably talking 52 half reversal, and then looking for like a couple of dollars to the upside here, where I think 56, it runs into some trouble there. So I'm very, very willing to go both directions. Yesterday, I only wanted the short Virgin Galactic. I will short a 52 break because that's the first thing that's going to come. But on a fail break, I will not hesitate to reverse it.
All right, look at Ethereum, guys. 18, look at the run that Ethereum's been on. From 1800, just June 27th, today's the 29th, 1800 all the way to 2200 right now, and looking like it wants to break through 22. So a big move up for Ethereum. I mean, just look at this. It's just even just right now, recently, tick, tick, tick. Like you could have even got $2 grand, 2100. Now you're up to 2200 on Ethereum. So you can look at ETHE. That's the grayscale name there. Also, BTC, the biggest and the baddest of them all, trying to make that run back to 40 again for BTC. So look at the 1 minute chart here. This also trying to get going here again today. A big move from BTC up that $2,000 in about a couple minutes here. I guess it's overnight. Up to 2,000 again on BTC. So get that going, and you know that's going to relate perfectly. I want to talk about NEO. We're going to be buying those dips all day, every day. But you want to watch a name, Square. We've been buying that one. Me and Brendan were a little nervous on this one, I believe. I think we're both long around that $200 mark. We talked about why we like that name. And again, like this is, you know, I do the show because we like to give you guys as much information. We like to teach. That's where I'm from. Like 19 years I've been here with the same company, Day Trade the World. I've taught traders all over the world, thousands of traders, hired thousands of traders. And I mean, this is all we're trying to do is, you know, teach everybody how to take advantage. Because, you know, in the school system, there's no education about trading. There's no education about investing. At least in Canada, there's not. And I'm pretty sure it's probably the same in the US and probably the same everywhere. And, you know, you got to look for support and resistance levels on names that you like. So that's why I keep going back to this. Like, that's why I keep saying about that JP Morgan buy, about that SPG buy, because a lot of the time we get caught up in a lot of these meme stocks or a lot of these names that really aren't investments. They're super fun to trade and you can make bank, and people have made so much money, and that's amazing, and so have we. But, you know, the whole point is you got to pick up good companies. We were panicking a little bit down here on Square when we were at that 200 level, especially if Bitcoin kept going down. But now you're above the 50-period moving average and continue to go up. I hope a lot of you are able to take advantage of a name like Square, and I think there's more to do today on this name as well, breaking through 250.
All right, a few little ones. Bottom end of the list this morning, I'll talk about this AUUD, a little software company. They launched their audio-focused platform a little bit earlier than expected. So this thing's been up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row now, another 26% at this point. It's already come off the high a lot. So it needs to get back above 8 and hold if we're going to go any higher. That's actually 825, 830. I just marked off there a little bit of a pivot from the pre-market. So we'll watch 8 to 825 to the downside. I mean, this 750 area from early on breaks. This thing probably tests where it started in the pre-market yesterday. We were all the way down there at 520. So monster range again for AUUD. Guys.
And that's a good one. You look at some of the gap ups that aren't involving, I guess, the squeeze or Wall Street Bets, AUD. I mean, B Square as well involved. Someone was asking about Coinbase. We talked about this one yesterday. Big level, of course, 250 reference price, 250 resistance, support that got broken here. And we went over all of this. And obviously, it had been stabilizing. We talked about how down around those teens, it was a good look that we was no longer reacting to some of the moves, at least as violently that you were seeing in Bitcoin. And now that we're back above like 36. I mean, Ethereum making a big move as well. This is a very, very large level here for Coinbase. If it does pull back, I do want to see if we can hold a 240. I wrote down that if there's any kind of a dip, I'm probably buying, forget about 240, I'm probably buying all the way down to 238. And I think it's pretty unlikely here, but Coinbase has surprised me in the past, so I want to make sure I'm ready to buy any kind of a crazy dip that it does have. We got a 251 break that's looming, and I think you can give that back to like a 250, but Coinbase has finally got some momentum into it in the last couple of sessions here. I mean, just going into last week, you've made a very, very nice move. It's been a while since this thing has put like a 20% move on, so we're very happy to see this one start to go. Someone just asked about ALF. I know this has been a big one, and Alphi, I guess it's Alphi, but it's starting to slow down a little bit. Like it had a couple of big days. Come on, load up. There we go. Had a couple of big days, but you did have that crazy 930, like, you know, pullback type of trade, and now you're consolidating lower here. So I would be at least a little bit concerned. I mean, I'm looking. It's not dissimilar from Virgin Galactic at 52. Only it does have something here at 16, so if it does fall off, you got like 10% to the downside, and then you're hoping that there can be like some support down at that 16 price. But you got to look at like a 1780 as a potential spot where if you haven't taken profit on an Alpha by now, that could be your level to go. If it does break a break to the top, I mean, 2080 to 2021, oddly enough, this exact same range as SoFi, that's going to be confusing, would be that point where you can think about a bit of a turnaround. It's not on the top of my radar because realistically, the stock's doing more volume. ALF, this is its lowest pre-market volume that I can remember. Sometime probably in the last couple of weeks it's done less, but I can't think of the day that it was, so it's not going to be front of the mind. I don't know that it should be for a day trader because the volume is so much lower than it's been in the past. And that's not a good sign for the longs either.
Yeah, guys, I mean, thanks for all the love on the chat about SoFi, man. I mean, I'm just trying to give you guys some plays that I liked from yesterday. You asked about it. I talked about SoFi on Friday night that we bought it. And then yesterday we talked about it as a swing play, so I hope you're able to get in on that. You could have got a better price than I had for sure. But okay, Orf, I just want to go over this one quickly because we're talking about some runners as the bell's going to open up in 2 minutes. And I can already see we have the man that everyone wants to ring the bell. He's getting ready over there right now. I won't spoil it for you, but you all know who it is. There it is. Now, Randy, that's your head, not the bell there, buddy. We'll do that afterwards. Okay, anyways, what I was going to talk about, Orf, was giving this up. So if we come back down through, we're not going to turn this winner into a loser. We've already scalped it out. We're only holding a part of this to see if it does moon. So we could take it out right now and ring the register on 40 cents, 50 cents. It's good, but we're not going to do that. We're going to wait to see if it does take out this very top. And if it falls back down, it falls back down. There's going to be a lot of opportunities today. We're going to get out of Orphazyme if it does go back down below that $8. You guys want to talk a little bit about Roblox? Sure, let's do it. I haven't fired it up yet today. Roblox on the NYSE should be a NASDAQ stock, but here we go. NYSE Roblox. My kids love this game. They continue to play it every single day. It needs to be limited, that's for damn sure. 93.50 there on Roblox, a good little breaking spot. We'll see if it can take that out with under or just over a minute to go here. We'll quickly check back in on Facebook. We love this name through the highs. Make sure I got an order ready for that. I do not. Good thing I double checked. Facebook right now, 358. We like that for a long, guys. 358 Facebook, and buying any dips on that name as well.
And let's not forget, Neo has 50 and 49.50. You have that tight range here at the top. Randy is getting ready. I don't know, what's he doing right behind me there, Randy? He's got the mallet in his hand. Don't hit my head for the ringing the bell. But Neo on watch because you got that 49. If it gets taken out, watch out for a dip down to like 47. I know Sean mentioned that, but 50 still going to loom at some point, I think, on that name. Virgin Galactic just bounced off 52, so it's not. I thought it was actually about to fill me. It was about 20 cents away from breaking 52, and then it did a small reversal. We'll also be watching ORF and MRIN at 9:30. If that makes a test at 10 even, I think that's where a rollover could potentially be. You guys were curious what he was wearing. He came in today, and he's going to be ringing that bell. It's Trader TV Randy.
Heyo.
Let's get this party started. We got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Do it justice, Randy. Ring it.
Alrighty then. Good job. Thank you, Mr. Randy at Trader TV Randy.
Wow.
You can all follow him and enjoy at Trader TV Randy. I'm hoping he's going to come on soon with a automotive segment. That would be kind of cool. Okay, there goes SoFi, guys. We already took out that top at 20.80. Let's see what it does now at $21. We've called this one, man. We're long and strong on SoFi. Let's go. I can't wait to get out of some of my shares on this big move to the upside here. We're long $18, but we're long 20.80 for you right now. And we're watching SoFi go. That may have been the move, man. Up 8%. Let's see how far we can go now with SoFi, Orphazyme as well. Let's go, SoFi. We're taking that 21 break, that's for sure.
And Virgin Galactic, probably looked at gift horse amounts very, very quickly. 52 broke. Look, it didn't spike to 50.60, but it got like 50 cents downward to 51.5. So we'll see if I can scalp some of that out there for that first quarter. So Virgin Galactic heading to the downside. We talked about that one possibly coming back in. 52 was a big level. I do also want to get to MRIN. So Marin does not test 10 off of the open. It's still in this range here between 9 and 9.60. I want to give it some time to allow it to test that 10 even before I even think about a short. But Virgin now at 51.50 and still looking like it's pretty weak.
Okay, guys, new position alert. I hit the wrong button there. It's supposed to be this one, because it's AMC. So right now, we go long here. This is that AMC trade that we like, 59.50. Let's see how far we can go up on this one right now. SoFi upside, AMC trying to break it as well. We'll get out some near 60, and then we'll see what happens at 60.50. Yesterday's high is right now, guys. It's just broke it. So that's why we're long here. Let's see if this one will work for us. Orphazyme coming back in. SoFi not really doing anything. Back down to 20.50. I said that might have been the long there. Our real long is 21. So we take a little bit of momentum off the open. Let's see about a spot to average it. I just told you, remember when it was up 8%? I said, I wish I could log in and get out of some of these shares. Let's see where we go from here, though. And there's another win, guys. We just cashed some out. Let's go, man. We're doing it already, guys. Cowbells all over the place. Bang with AMC. There you go. All you apes, you can check that trade out. Bang right there. AMC, a big win there. Long 59.50. Let's go.
Attaboy, Daryl all over that Coinbase. I missed the opportunity. Of course, I'm looking at that Virgin Galactic and then Sun run off the open. There goes Coin through that 250 level, through 251. I do have my bid, which is probably going to be no good because forget about it. Once you've missed it, you've missed it. This is definitely a strong move, and we talked about how Coinbase was primed to finally get some momentum. That Zila tested off the open, and it did test that high of the day, pre-market high at least, and started that little bit of a fail. If it can hold 220, I'll see it go back up there again to that towards that 250 before I jump in. Just had that Virgin Galactic, which is coming back in, and that ORF, it's right here at the actual high of the day, just like MRIN, but it's MRIN that I'm watching at 10 instead.
Yeah, guys. Congratulations, Daryl. But look at it. I don't even know what you were doing there. That's a great play on Coinbase. Look at this, though, Neil. Bang! We hit it on AMC, guys. We're back. We're here for you. Let's just hit another bang. There it is, man. 59.50. You guys want to talk about a play? That's on the sticky note, straight to the upside. I hope you guys have that. We're already out. Now we'll hold a third of that play as we continue to make some money on AMC. Look at Orphazyme as well, taking out the top. The only thing we're resting our laurels on right now is SoFi, and that's coming right back in, and we talked about that. That was probably a little bit too high. Let's try to buy up some SoFi on the downside. What up, Brendo?
Another big mover here, Marin Software, guys. Lots of volume came in at the open there from 9 all the way back to 10 here. Watch 10, top end of the pre-market range up 30% again for MRIN.
And I actually have as a pre-market high 10-10, but that's sort of splitting hairs, guys. I mean, I care more about that 10 even level, but you can look at that 10-10 if you want to. I want to play both directions, of course. I just actually had to pay for short, so good thing I checked it out just to make sure that we got him in there, guys. So I'm going to set my stop first because I want to make sure I get that reversal if it does come, and then see if I can jump into this one. I wanted that reversal trade there. Sunrun, we're going to start working into that one off the high of the day. If it breaks 59, my stop is already in place. We got the short on that one. And Virgin Galactic said if 52.50 comes in, we're not hesitating to reverse into a long play in Virgin Galactic if it breaks back to the upside. So it's worked on the downside initially. I want to catch some Marin if I can get it, but watch out. Virgin takes 52.50. That's a reverse.
All right, guys, here it is. 61 now dollars on AMC as we continue to go to the upside. $1.30 now in the money, but it just bounced off 61. So this play, just so everybody knows, I'm going to try to hold this all day. I've already taken the profits out there. I mean, if we can retest back down to 57.50, maybe even 57 even, something like that. This has just been a fun play for us today. AMC to the moon, guys, as we continue to rock and roll with that one. Orphazyme also, guys, like this is the thing. Trading big cap stocks, trading small cap stocks, trading IPOs. We're doing it all. Brendo, hit them.
Yeah, nice look there for AMC right off the bat. Good to see it participating again. Look at Plug, guys. 3.5%, just taking up pre-market highs here on decent volume as well. Just went from 34.20 to 35.5 for Plug Power.
So, I mean, I'll be happy. Got the reverse in space and just already scalped some out there, so we'll be happy about that. But I'm not happy about MRIN. I just said the turn off of 10. I'm sitting on the offer trying to catch it, and it's already down at like 8.80. So it goes a full $1 in that reversal. I mean, hopefully, if anyone had that long there, you had to watch out for MRIN. We talked about that 10 level being some resistance. We also talked about that Virgin Galactic. If it couldn't take out some of those fresh lows, that it would be a reverse swing at that 52.50. It does immediately give that scalp trade. It still has levels it needs to chew through if it wants to be strong, guys. We're talking about that 53 and that 53.5.
You can take it
But
up.
when you have a wipeout bottom like that off of support, and of course you have multi-day support there on every pullback, when you get a little bit of a flush out bottom, when a level like that holds, usually you're going right up to like a 55 there. So that's what the play is going to be. And then Alphi, we talked about Alphi. I see it there. Dan McIsaac. Yeah, weakness. That's what we talked about, guys. So MRIN flushing just like Alphi did.
Oh, man. Okay, just on Orphazyme here, I changed my order now. We're going to get out at 8.50. If it breaks back down below 8.50, we'll put 45 cents in our pocket there for 8.50 break. So that's what we're looking for right now. Oops, for Orphazyme. So we'll wait if that breaks back down below. Okay, we did average into SoFi here, so we took it right here, 25s, an average in price. We are going to put some bids a little bit lower in case we do fade out here a bit. I think that's obviously going to be possible, down to 1960. You're still up that 5%. When it was up 7, we were a little worried about it. There goes Orphazyme as well, so we'll hit the hot dog cannons. We don't have the top, but we also don't have the bottom, so that's a good trade for us on Orphazyme. We are out like that. We are just cruising today. It's been a good day for us, man. We're going to go perfect so far. AMC, Orphazyme, and then SoFi is not perfect, obviously, so we're going to go 2 for 2 and wait for that. We're waiting for a dip buy also in NIO as the NASDAQ goes up and down there, so we don't get that dip buy. What? Oh, my God. Where was I? No, I was a little bit lower. I was 48.25 there, but there's the dip. Came right in on NIO, so that was a good buy if anybody was able to get that one. We could check in on the banks. I don't know our charts, probably. I'm scared, but yeah.
Oh, don't.
155.80. I don't even know where it opened, but we can't even look at that one for today. And then quickly, just because we've been touting Facebook a bit here, it is dipping back into these levels. My bid's a little bit lower than this, but this could be a good one as well. So give it to them, Brendo.
We talked about the offering for CCL yesterday, guys. Sold off all day long, back to 26. Volume alert there. Tried to get above 26.50 briefly, but came right back down. CCL positive, but holding basically break even, guys.
All right.
I'm going to do two things here. One, we'll give it, because I never get a chance to hit that to the moon, but there's that reversal we talked about in Virgin Galactic. Take some out of 53. I just tried to get some in front of that 53.60. It does line up for a top-end break here, pre-market highs. That's 53 and 75, we'll call it. I know you can see 70 there, so we'll take it out. Look now to see that 52 come back to be support. If it can do that, I'm going to like it for a bit of a dip in front of that 52, and then I'll take a 53 half break. I am now into that run, sun run that is. We got the short at the top. We did start that one at 57.80. It looks like it's range bound on light volume, and if that's going to be the case, cover some at VWAP because my average price is about 58.11. I want to stay net short this one in front of that high at 59, so I want the ability to get in and out if I can in the high 58s while maintaining a core short position. Look, don't get me wrong, I love the chart on sun run. We just went over the reasons why it could be due for a pullback today. Speaking of that pullback, Virgin Galactic, Tesla did break downside. Did not get down to the levels that I liked for that little bit of a buy, but I did have the sneaky suspicion that Tesla was going to be weak off the open. I just chose to short sun run instead, but Tesla did give you that break at the pre-market low. Just didn't get anywhere close to 666. That's a good sign.
All right, we're trying to buy some more SoFi here as well. If we can get it down near 20, we will definitely take that one and we'll like it a lot. So hopefully we can get some SoFi love there as well. Ethereum is not doing much right now either, so we're not looking at the grayscale yet. 20 to 30, I guess it's going upside. So it's a nice little move off the open, but we'll wait to see that one. Here's what I'm talking about. It's ETHE over here on the pink sheets. We've got Jeff Mendel come on a couple times. I think he's due to come on this week, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, tomorrow, okay, or Thursday, I think it was. Is it Wednesday or Thursday? Okay, there it is. So nice little move up for ETHE, up 7.4%. If you're not in the physical, you can definitely buy some grayscale products and take that. Another name on our watch today was going to be AMD, so we just look over there. That's why we keep a sticky note, guys, in a watch list, because come on, NASDAQ. Because you got to have sort of an idea, like when you're saying, oh, I don't know what to look at, you go look over here and find out what's going on. There goes Palantir. We just bought Palantir on a dip near 27. Chart's not going great today. There's a dip down, but watch out. Like, see, Palantir down 1%, NASDAQ flat. Bad sign for Palantir. You may not want to start averaging into this one, guys. Let's go, Brendo.
There was more positive data this morning, guys, on Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine against some of those very scary variants. Apparently, it's pretty effective. So all-time highs just taken out there, 227.80 up to 229.5 for mRNA.
I'm kind of curious to why, I don't know, just heard a bell over my head. Oh my God, ORF, I missed out on this one. The 820 went, and I went to get the short, but then I did not have pay for short. So that 820 level does come back into play here to the downside on ORF. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get some locates. Just to go back over to Virgin Galactic, as it's happening, I said I'll cover in front of the high of the day because I want to breakout trade off of that top. So I got the breakout bid sitting in there, and then I'm looking for a dip buy at the same entry price that we had on that reversal or on that 52.50, guys. So I think a couple of ways we can get into it. Sunrun's the only thing I'm sitting in, at least for now. But remember, Zila, let's not get too far away from that new, I guess, Wall Street squeeze name, Wall Street Bets name. It's now back up towards that top. So watch out for a 250 break. It is doing a crap ton of volume up here, so it is definitely a scalper's dream. Taking 5-10 cents is a strategy that can work if you have direct market access. But for most people here, you're probably waiting for that breakout or trying to hold like a 240 short down to like a 220. I'd love to be able to catch like 45s. I wouldn't care if I made like 5 or 6 cents on it because you're only risking 5 or 6 up to that 250.
Okay, just quickly, guys, just to talk about Palantir there. If we do break below 27, we are going to dump a significant portion of this trade. We are long at 12. It's just a small buy. We haven't been maxing out our buys on Palantir until we break key levels. We don't average in to a max position or anything like that on Palantir. We did talk about it on our note to buy it back into 26.50. Some levels from yesterday down here, 26.85 yesterday off the open. So if we can, cruise a little bit to the downside. The reason why, man, we don't like it. Like the NASDAQ's up and Palantir's down. That's instantly right there. In case you don't know, I trade Palantir. Hi, my name is Sean. I don't, it's just, if it keeps continuing downside, there's obviously something broken with it. I think it's probably just profit taking at this point on Palantir. So again, we break down below. I mean, there's so many more fish to fry. So we won't even look at this anymore until we get a little bit lower into those levels that we talked about. There it goes. So 26, whatever it was, 26.85, something like that to the downside. So we'll wait wait to see on that. But my stop order, I guess, didn't go, but should have there. Oops, yeah, wrong price there I put in for that. So we'll get out now as it's breaking back below 27. We'll take out a little bit. We just got saved there by not getting out, actually. So we'll put that stop order right back in, guys.
So I got the shorts on Zila, or not Zila. I did get the reversal on Zila. It goes through that 250 level, but ORF is back to that 820. What am I paying on ORF? I just want to check, see how much I'm going to end up paying on that. I want to get it right around here in front of VWAP if I can do that, but of course I had to get those pay for shorts first. Brendo?
If you needed more positivity on Coinbase, guys, just reading this. ARK's FinTech fund buying 20.3 million worth of coin yesterday. So a nice look yesterday. We're back to the upside again today.
Kathy Wood's filing for a Bitcoin ETF because they need more ETFs up in that bad boy. So let's see what they do with that. I think, look, it can't necessarily be a horrible thing for the actual. Look, it's not going to be bad for any of the equity plays, but I want to see what goes in there because we've sort of seen some interesting names that go into ETFs. So when it comes over to ARK, so ORF, I just got that paper short. It's only 2 cents a share, so that's a pretty good price. But now we're back into VWAP. I'll take my shot here, just taking some shares if I can in front of it around those 20 levels. But as I'm trying to do that, Zila is starting to go, and I always say if you can't beat them, join them, especially with the WSB crowd. So we do reverse in the long. I said it only short in front. I actually got 46s or 40 and 47 some in there. We reverse into a long, quickly scalps them out in front of 60 because it just stalled at 58, and now we'll hold to the upside. Virgin Galactic, we're back in as that retested 52.50. Got some shares at 47 to the long side. So long those two, still short Sunrun, and I just got into ORF as that retook or held at least VWAP at 830. So 4 positions for me, 2 short, 2 long. Let's go Zila. Hopefully, if this thing breaks 240, you'll probably hear me yell out a line from the room, although I'll just change it from Lisa to Zila.
Okay, I guess we got a bad, I don't know if we got a bad wick there or not, but we went long again there. 27.03, just a little bit in front of 27. So we'll wait to see if this one can go. Obviously, our position now is 27.04 on Palantir as we average into that trade. So far, so good on that end. We've already crushed ORF today. You've seen that today. Neil's not going to try to go short on that one. Good one. I mean, we got out there. We tried to let it go to 9. Didn't go, right? So good. I think it was a good out anyways there on ORF. And then here goes Palantir now back to the upside. So we're long at 04 on Palantir. So we'll fire off some hot dogs as it continues to go to the upside now. PLTR with some moves now, guys. There it is. We do that dip buy like we said we would. We bought double the shares down there at 03. What up, Beep?
I remember some of these genome editing stocks were very strong yesterday. Just brought up CRISPR here on a volume alert, guys, through 150. So we retook 150 after a dip off of the open, but CRSP a little bit thin though. So tread lightly, guys.
Yeah, those were fantastic opportunities yesterday. I think the rollover, because the news is incredibly good when it comes to those gene sequencing names, but the rollover was just an obvious one. Now we're breaking VWAP. I did look a gift horse in the mouth, if I can get to it really quickly here, which I'm never supposed to do, but when we do, we'll be accountable to it. I always take a bit of a scalp trade off in these clusters. I had a chance to catch that bounce off of VWAP on Virgin Galactic 52.50 and then get it right out, at least some of it for that first quarter, exactly where we were taking it on the way up the first time. Now we're staring need to hold that 52. If this is a wipeout bottom off that 15-minute chart that we showed you, you need to hold that higher low, that 52. So I'm not going to add anything until I've seen that happen. As far as Zila goes, you would think, and remember, this is a cheap stock doing a ton of volume, so I can't expect that this is going to make, it moves quite as fast as everything else. It has some levels that it has to chew through. It is sustaining the breakout, but every 5 cents or so, you got to be taking, every 5 cents or so, I would be taking profit in it because when I look at trading what essentially is a penny stock, that's what we look to do, all the way up to a 275 and then maybe a 3 even, but has to get there first, and 60s haven't even broken yet.
All right, yeah, 5-cent wins on Zila. I mean, they add up. That's the whole point. And again, a lot of it's going to be dependent on how you guys can structure your fees, right? And so I'm hoping that you guys can add liquidity like we do and get out a little bit on the way up to make a trade like that very profitable. Okay, 27, we buy that dip on Palantir. We're just getting it out now as we approach VWAP. We'll hold on to a little bit here as we wait for the run to happen now to the upside on that name. So we're going to wait for Palantir to run upside. We did talk about defending 27. It's right here on the sticky note, guys, into 27 support. So you guys could see that all the way back to 26.50. We said we weren't going to buy any more here at 27, but then this is that wick that we were talking about. We've put some videos out about this, so I'm glad that I can show it to you live here. When you get that blowout with big volume like that and then you bounce back, for me, that's a no-brainer long right there. So bang into the upside, and there it goes, right? But again, I was not liking the action early on Palantir. Felt like it shouldn't have fallen. We're still down that 0.73%. But the point is here, guys, this could be the big winner, I mean, today, because honestly, if it keeps on going to the upside and the NASDAQ keeps going and it just rejects that downward move today, then yeah, it has a lot of catch up to do to the market, right? So let's see if we can go, hey, it's a 15-cent winner today. My largest stock for sure. I mean, AMC's right there. We're still holding on to this. We took a big win on AMC and now we've averaged into SoFi as well. So let's see if we can get some of these ones to rock and roll with us. We're very, very excited about the potential here today for some of these names.
Yeah, and Zila looks like a fail break. I'm going to flush that. Well, sorry, I'm not on the flush on the toilet, so I'm going to hit that one because that's the one I'm closest to there. That's going to flush to the downside on me. So the break does not work on Zila. I do want to come back to Tesla very quickly if I can. Looks like that bounce was a little bit short-lived, so watch out. Tesla retesting those bottoms. I still like 666, but 75 was also a bit of a level. So if we do track any lower, I do want to come back to the notion that 75 could be a little bit of a spot for me there. And the breakout, I don't think we're getting the break on Tesla anytime soon. It's going to be only dip buys for me on TSLA. I was going to talk about that MRIN a little bit here, but this one is going to be the biggest missed opportunity because as we talked about the 930 rollover, it is only going to the downside. There is no pop for me to short because it just continues to fall off a cliff. MRIN. You can make a call all you want, and it's fine. You guys saw me live miss the trade, so that one's all pie in my face. I should have been aggressive on the short instead of waiting on the offer. I should have been hitting that bid. Brendo?
I had the Solars on the list this morning, guys. Jinko just popping up here. Day high, 6.6% now. Well, maybe there's one red candle in there. There's a 3-minute chart, 52 up to 56.5 for Jinko, guys.
Yeah, shout out to Shakib, the hydrated one. We'll fire off hot dogs for Shakib, the hydrated one who brought us that Jinko Solar yesterday there. So I just tweeted this out, guys, and I mean, you can see how we're tweeting it and what we're meaning when we do this, guys. Palantir, so here it goes, man. We did this. Oh, I don't have the reloaded thing. I should. This is a good time to do it. We reloaded on this one, so all you members now know what we're all about with this one. Because, and we just talked about why. This is why I tweet this stuff out. Failed break at the bottom, right? Pointing that out to you guys. Hits the 27, fails, and goes right back to the upside on. I don't have the volume there, but that was a good indicator there. So again, we tweeted at Kathy D. Wood as well there to get that rolling. So hopefully Palantir, and then look at that out, man. 29s or 28s there. We have top tick. They almost bottom tick and almost top tick there. As we're getting lighter and lighter on it, that was a big move up. You guys know that we trade around VWAP, so bang that to the upside there, and we'll get rid of that and see where we go from here. We also have a great bottom wick here on SoFi, so let's see if that can go. Again, right in front of this support here at 75, but apparently we have Ms. V. You don't want to see me. Let's see her.
Hey Sean, Clover Health is moving to the upside. Do you guys see any opportunities for yourself in Clover today?
It's right back. Oh, goodness. My daily chart doesn't want to load on Clover. It just broke that. We talked about this one in yesterday's afternoon show and also in the morning. This 13 level was the key one, but that's for the time being a bit of a fail break. I mean, it got to 1309 and sort of tracking back in here. But look at this. It's like 1350, never even got to in the morning. So you do have some resistance points up there, but that's a good level to look for. I mean, 30 to 40 cents on a $13 stock is not a bad way to be able to take a bit of a breakout trade. So I actually like it. You have a multi-day sort of a support at that at 1260, that you're coming off of, and then you're breaking out at 13. I think it's a pretty solid risk to reward. I just don't know if you're giving it anything past 1260 on a daily trade, and that's first look there. I just got wicked out, and this could be, Virgin Galactic. I just noticed, of course, that I got wicked out. I want to make sure that I did have the correct stop order instead of possibly making a bit of a keystroke error, which I think I did. Yep, I don't see Virgin Galactic actually testing that low, so accidentally got out. We'll slap ourselves in the face. I like to slap in the face. So I want to make sure I can find it here, guys. Every now and then you're going to make keystroke error. Slap ourselves in the face. Virgin Galactic did not break this, I guess, lower, this first rebound trade here at 51.30 when it had the wipeout. It has held that level, so the reversal I should not be out of. I'll look to get back into it as it's testing lower here. Virgin Galactic was all day short yesterday. I did start with a short at that price, and the reversal was looking pretty good. Couldn't take out that pre-market high. Now I want to see us hold this 51.30 area. If it can bounce off that, we'll just jump right back into it.
For acknowledging some of the calls there that we gave you guys. Yeah, take my profits on AMC. Yeah, maybe we will at this point. But thank you, Thomas, for that one, guys. 352.51. Again, that's exactly what we talked about. Unfortunately, I was waiting at 352.21, thinking that we could break that and then play off the 352. But this is why I did it, guys. This level yesterday, right here, that's that 352, and that's the 352.50, like right there. So that's a great call there. It's 352.56. Almost bounces straight off that level there. So again, this is why we went long Facebook yesterday and had this whole move. We have the top tick yesterday, 358. So I have that in my account. So that was a good trade, but it's right in here, guys, that we were looking at. So thank you, Thomas, for acknowledging that one. That's, important that we do that. We're a team here, guys. So thank you for that. And just like we acknowledge your guys' calls too. Great job on a lot of your plays here today. And thank you again for more love here with ADA, man. Cardano, high of 250. But there's that dollar bounce, guys, that we talked about. We talked about that all day. I talked about that live on the show, giving you guys crypto plays, giving you guys momentum plays in the market, trading Orphazyme, crushing that, crushing AMC. We're long SoFi, but this has been a nice move for Cardano. Next stop on this one, 10 spot. So watch out for Cardano to blow up to the upside right there. NEO coming back in. We looked at the banks today. Our charts won't hold out for that, so I can't show you banks. Some marijuana names today, not really moving. I'm glad to see BarkBox moving around. But other than that, man, not much happening. Let's check back in on AMC.
NIO here just broke. It already broke that 50 level. We did talk about that when looking at other names, so apologies for not catching it live. We do go over every single one of these and talk about the key levels. So there was a dip right into support, and then it bounces right off that 48.50 like an absolute charm. If it's going to sustain this move here, guys, 50 level is being tested. Just to refresh, this is basically like 49. This is a big level. If we can hold above that 48.50 to 49 on the daily, then certainly you're going to make that next run into 55. The momentum is fantastic. Delivery numbers are still coming through, so I like this trend. But this is one of those has to hold past like 10, 10, 15 without any kind of a retracement. Otherwise, you're probably looking at one of those like capitulations, like not capitulations, but I guess pullback type days. They're healthy, but as a day trader, I'd preach some caution. You want to have already won a little bit here. And that 50-50, I wouldn't let it go too far if you want to take the next breakout. Sorry, 50-60, if you want to take the next breakout, I wouldn't let it go too far against you because that could be one testing that 48.50 to 49 rather quickly. I said if we held, which we just did on Virgin Galactic, I'd look to jump back into it. So gonna hop on the bid here as it does hold that bottom. That's 15-minute chart. It does hold that bottom, does not test 51.30. We're right off that 51.50 level, so we're gonna jump back into it. Shouldn't have been stopped out in the first place, but hey, when lots of things are moving fast, you can keystroke a stop order, which I did, and then covered it 80 and 8 instead of 3. That's a horrible mistake to make, but it happens to everybody. I'm back into Virgin Galactic. It was a reversal idea for me. Now we're buying the dip in front of 51.30. This wick down here, crazy one to 50.60. Disregard that. I'm looking at 51.30. Brendo?
Another clean energy name having quite the day here, guys. About 4.8% for FCell. Just got back above that last pivot on the daily chart there, 9.5. So straight upside for FCell.
All right, so you guys noticing, we're getting out of Palantir on the way back down here. And again, thank you again for the chat. I mean, we switched the chat up a little bit today, and I just love the fact that all the members are in there talking about Cardano. Look, I'm so glad that you guys took that at $1, man. Congratulations to everybody. You see who you are in the chat. So that's great. Thank you so much for acknowledging that as well. Maybe there's some space for some more content with crypto. You guys want that? Maybe we could do something like that. Okay, Palantir, SoFi. Oh, the banks, we talked about that. AMD, let's take a look at Wish quickly. I didn't even put the order in for Wish today, so I really hope it didn't break any of these levels. We wanted 1375 shorts on Wish. I just think that this name, come on, let's go chart. Just thought this name was a little overextended to the upside, but it's doing 20 million shares today. Good amount for sure. As we go, yeah, it didn't take that out. We were looking at 1375 on Wish as a possible level to break. So here's a 20-period chart. It's just right here, 1375. So we'll put that order in, see if we can get a little Wish breaker on that one if it does come back to the downside there. The NASDAQ, trying, man. I was really surprised. I told you that. Surprised at how high we got up off that initial dip. And now NASDAQ turning positive. The ES also positive today. So a bunch of positive moves. I think a lot of that has to do with crypto. I think a lot of that has to do with some of that Facebook momentum that we continue to talk about. I said yesterday about space. Yesterday's sticky note, if I could find it, it's here somewhere. It talked all about space and how high it was. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here. About space. About Virgin Galactic and what we were talking about there at that 60 level. And I said the air was a little too shallow up there. So now you get it here. And what a big move to the downside that's been happening. So we looked for a short yesterday, weren't able to put it on. Wish we could have, but we did not. And now space to the downside again. And I think the next stop for this, probably in this 36, 37, 38 area, but we'll wait on that. I mean, the momentum on this name is ridiculous, as you guys know, so watch out for some Virgin Galactic love here today. It may start to head a little northbound now.
Actually able to just catch a little bit of a buy the dip for like 25 cents on that one. It bounced off that 51.30. Well, not even getting 51.30, 51.50. But watch out for ORF. It just, again, is trying to hold 8 even. Now, look, it broke down here one time at 8, got back at the view up. That's when I was able to short that pop. If it breaks 8 now, I'm going to add to the position, not take anything off. So it maybe gives you that view up retracement trade. It feels like the next thing is going to be breaking through 8 even here. On ORF, I'll take the break if I can catch it. I don't want to chase to like 770 or anything like that, but let's see if we can't get more shares. There we go. Actually just got into some more shares of Orphazyme. So it did that spike up to $9. Now comes and holds VWAP. Watch out. There is like 775 that sort of sits there. Want to make sure we're taking some profit out in front of that one. This stock has some kind of a floor to it. So you do want to make sure on the shorts that you're playing it a little bit closer to the vest, because if you look at that 720, that stands out like an absolute sore thumb. That's only like 70 cents away. It's like 10% from here, I think, is where ORF runs into some serious support at that 720 level. That's an awesome level. Pull back and then cluster here in yesterday's action. Breakout today at that same price. Lots of reasons to like 720. For now, shortening the money on ORF, but understand I'm likely to reverse at that quarter mark.
All right. Just total accounting to have a splendid day. Okay, let's go. Okay, so that's ORF. Yeah, Neil just covered that. I was just looking at that as well because Neil was talking about it. What else do we want to look at? Oh, yeah, Tilray. Tilray finally gets above that 1910 area, I believe. Yeah, so that was a good level that we've looked at here on a daily chart a couple times if it will load up. But Tilray, a nice little run. There it is. Yeah, it was right in here. Now, it's actually 1940-ish. That we're looking at, sorry. 1950. It doesn't matter. It's a nice little bounce back here on the daily chart for Tilray. Yeah, it's right in here. I guess, 19, this area here, 18. It doesn't really matter at this point, but this is a key level for me. It's basically $20 on Tilray. So we'll wait to see if we can get up to that side now. And if we do, then that's a good move. But again, you know what? I'd rather wait until WSB gets a little bit on these names and we can see what earnings is all about for Tilray, so we're going to wait for that play coming soon. But for right now, I'm going to stay away from some of these marijuana names until earnings and until we get a little bit more news. I'd much rather play the momentum than sit around on a name like Tilray, guys. But, oh, you know what's a good one, man? QuantumScape today, also busting out. We took a 30 long on that play, and that was a good play for QuantumScape on that 30 long. The inclusion into the Russell, guys, was a good one. There it is. We took that play as well. So you can stamp me long 30 on QuantumScape. Brendan, happening now. Let's see what's going on in the broader markets.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's have a quick look at how things stand at this point. We are trying to get back to the upside here for those tech stocks we mentioned. Probably going to be important for them to have a positive day if the overall market's going to follow suit. But the 100 here, NASDAQ 100 negative, the composite basically offsetting that same amount to the upside. The Dow 0.3 to the upside, the S&P 1.15 to the upside. There's a Russell 0.26, so positive for some of the small caps so far today here in Toronto, basically flat on the day so far. We are trying to hold on to positive territory, but struggling so far. A few things of note that we were talking about pre-market. Yeah, the banks selling off so far. This is Wells Fargo. 46.30, 46.25 ends up being the high, down to about 45.20 where it's trying to bounce at this point. A little bit of buying coming in. And Facebook, important levels, guys, being tested right now. 352 was this area from yesterday afternoon. So we'll watch FB, see what happens here. Back over to you.
I'm looking back to that 47, 52, 47 was the level after that. MRIN just bounced off the low here, 830, back into VWAP here. It's looking to catch a little bit of a bid right into this 9 even area. I saw that DGBI, guys, but the pop here, and I'm going to take some MRIN in front of like 920. DBGI, we have no locates on. It is in a volatility hole right now, so it's going to be worth going over, but I just saw the pop in MRIN. Wanted to make sure I got a little bit of this play in front of 910. I might have accidentally just said 920, but look at 910 as that, I guess, recent high that we can play off of. If it makes another push, I like 10 a heck of a lot better. We did miss it the first time. I have no problem going over that DBGI. You just aren't likely to see me take a trade in it because we don't have the locate. So you're going to get that push, you get a halt at the high of the day, it reopens, showing a little bit of strength here, holding up at that reopen price. Looks like it opened back up at about, I'm seeing like 735 here, test 750. There'd be a shot for maybe something in front of 750, but usually, this is something that I would have had a plan of action going into, and then, maybe I would have had this one, maybe I wouldn't have, but without the ability to play those shorts, you only go one direction. So holding this halt price at 685, which, oh goodness, it looks like it's trying to do right here. I actually kind of like that for a long play. Immediately, this is one of the reasons why you always have an idea what you like. I like those halt prices. Immediately comes down testing it. When I have that short up here around that 750 area, I'm usually looking for a bounce off of that when you can only go one direction. Well, heck, if you liked it for an out in front of a short, then using that previous halt price as potential support at 685 or so, not a bad idea. If it can hold that to VWAP, fair enough. If it can't, quick little in and out type of idea on DBGI. So it's not that you have to go one way, that I have to take a long, but if I can't short it, I have to at least consider those outs can turn into long opportunities from the short side of it. So I just got into MRIN and add that to ORF, which is back to flat, short at 805 there.
Okay, people talking about Facebook a little bit here. I'm just still looking at QuantumScape. Facebook to the downside, I guess. Yeah, but right back to that 352 area one more time. It dips down to 351, 352, a good little long there. I'm a little hesitant on it just because we do have, some of those high looks there on Facebook already today, and we didn't break it. And then we were looking at the NASDAQ as well and staring that in the face and then wondering what this wants to do. So we talked about it going against, obviously, some of the trends. If Facebook's going to continue down, we got to watch out for the NASDAQ as well. So that's something to watch out for, obviously, every day as we continue to watch Facebook. And I'm just looking for more breaks. Like, I don't want to. Thing is, if I start averaging in and buying these down here, and this isn't a horrible spot. We talked about why yesterday's jump spot there on Facebook, if I could show you, it was right here, this 352. So we are right there again. So lots of love for Facebook. We just got to make sure that it's the right play for us at 352 and change. I think we can take a small piece now and then see where we go from here. So let's go. Let's execute a little long on this one. We already made a lot of money on Palantir, but it's coming back in right now. So not sure where we go from here with this name. We do like it, but again, my bids are a lot lower here. So let's take Palantir a little bit below 2685. What up, Morgan Brennan? 2680 to the downside here on Palantir is where I'm going to try to get reloaded.
And Coinbase came to like 254, so it didn't quite get back into this like 250, 5390 top here, but comes into like 254 half, holding around VWAP. I mean, this is probably that's a pretty healthy pullback that you're going to get in there on Coinbase. Look, we talked about liking the long here, but we're going to end up having missed out on it no matter what. I still have that DGBI. It's still holding that 685 area, so it's a relatively tight stop at $7 to 85. I understand that, but it's post-halt trading, and post-halt trading, very, very defined risk for me always. That's one of the reasons you take advantage of those halts. MRIN. Oh, did we freeze? Come on, chart. There we go. MRIN goes up to VWAP, does hold. Now we're clustering off of VWAP. I want to make sure that previous pre-market low at 860, I got my bid just to take quick little 25 cents out of it. Then we'll look to test low of the day. I'll cover at low of day because 830, we'll double bottom here in the 1 minute, double bottom again here on the 1 minute. If it breaks through that on MRIN, I think we'll always have a chance to maybe grab that short. This was also the post-market, I guess a little top on our chart there. So 830 is another breakdown for MRIN. I want to scalp into that rather than just sort of sit there, holding through and looking for the home run trade. We can always re-enter either on pops or on the breakdown at that 830 level. Looks like DBGI is holding 685 still, so basically flat on that one. And then Orphazyme is doing that same thing. Like the first short, okay, great off of VWAP that we had. We wanted to add on the 8 even breaks. We scalped some out there. We add on the 8 even break. It's still holding the trend. But if it pops back into VWAP, I still like adding in that 8-quarter mark. So we're still with the trend, MRIN still with the trend, and we're playing that to the south side.
We did it again. 85s, Palantir out. 95s, 93, 94, 95, right there on Palantir. So to quote Brittany, oops, we did that again for you guys. Buy some dips. We talked about that on Palantir. We're only out of 30% of it. So hopefully it continues to go to the upside. We are going to buy it again. And we could lose on this trade, guys. We're going to try to buy it like every 10 cents all the way down to 26.50, guys. So let's see where we go on this one. And we've also doubled up on Facebook. So a buy and then a buy, playing off that 350 level. Long Facebook, long SoFi, long Palantir, long AMC, long Life. What's up, Brendo?
Sean, you mentioned that move in oil we saw early on this morning. Just saw rig here having quite the day. 9% for Transocean, just went from 440 to 475. But big levels up here ahead for RIG, guys.
So I see there are a couple people asking, Ed in particular, about that NTLA. It was a great one yesterday, and I think you were playing that pure sell the news kind of idea where you get that gap up. But I love where your head is at with that 137 idea for a short. The issue there is, like, just make sure you're giving it back to 140 at an absolute minimum. Like, that's, if you're not giving up like $2 to $2.50, I kind of feel like that's not enough risk. So there is that top there at a 145. I think the news is absolutely fantastic for them. So I would be a little bit cautious. It did find some support down at like 120. But there is some room to that level here, whether it's going to be the current pre-market low. So that's actually not a bad trade. I mean, if it was a little bit closer, I'd consider looking at it myself. But I'm not chasing that thing $3 down when I just told you how much room you have to give it. So watch out for that one. Just DBGI, for a stock that just halted, does feel like it's getting a little bit, I don't know, like barcodey. Like it just spiked up, could not get past like 715 or so. So we get a little bit of a scalp trade out of it. But 15 cents worth of risk, I'm always going to take that same amount out. So 7 long, 15 cents worth of risk, 85. We'll take some out at 715 and then see if it takes out the high. But it is absolutely barcoding. It doesn't seem like it. But for stock to just put in these types of moves, I like the idea that it's holding 85s. I'll try to take more shares in one time here. But if it doesn't start to go, we'll have to look to get out of this one. It's not the afternoon show where I'm like, got to the close to get out. But you want to see these try to rally back up towards the high. The longer it stays down here, the more likely you're testing that bottom and then maybe looking for a deeper dip buy.
Okay, so Facebook's starting to go back upside a little bit now. Well, it just did. It went to 352 and then came right back down. So we're going to have to watch out again. This is just a NASDAQ play here. Hopefully it can get going. We're going to watch and protect that 3. Like I said, remember I was saying I was like a little bit nervous about that play. So, you know, we're not heavy into this, but we do have that 350 staring us in the face. So we'll get out if it breaks through 350. It's looking more and more like it. It should have gone there. It's almost like that Palantir break play, almost the opposite. Remember when we broke to the downside and then resisted it and then went right back up? That's like the same tick there where it comes all the way up, breaks a couple levels, and then just crashes right to the downside. So that's a play to look out for all day, every day on any stock. So you got to watch out for those there. It's not like you don't get like wicked out if that happens to you. Like if your stop is 352, then you get out there. Like that's, you just got to be disciplined with your outs and your ins. It's just like if it breaks through 350 and then stops and then bangs right back upside, I got to make sure, and it's hard for us to do it because we don't see these things real time. Like we're often talking about different names and blah, blah, blah. So it is tough to get it real time. But like if it breaks through 350 and I get out, that's my stop. So that's so I get stopped out. I take that out at 350, and then I have to watch to see if does it resist and then come back up with volume. So that's the kind of play that I look for on these little retracements. So let's wait to see if Facebook does that. I like to keep my eye on that just in case I do wind up getting stopped out and I could just punch right back long. So that's kind of the play that I'm going to be looking for here on Facebook, guys.
And Dan McKazik, you asked, a short MRIN off of 10. I can tell you that first stop, remember we said we give the first short that we had and look to give horse in the mouth a little bit. Not too much, so I'm not going to hit the key. 920, it broke that to the upside. Sorry, 910, broke it to the upside. Tight stop, get out. But I said it was the biggest miss this morning. If MRIN tested 10, I wanted to short. I did miss it. You saw that real time. I tried to get like 980s. I was sitting on the offer and it flushed. Second time through, you don't have to ask. I am in at 977. Probably a little bit away from that 10 and 10-10 top than I would have liked, but having missed it the first time, I saw it snap back so hard. I've already scalped a little bit out here at 60. So that first there will take like 17 cents. It's kind of a random number, but 17 cents is a random number, but 60 isn't random. Those pre-market levels here, you can see a double top before making that failed break. So that's the first cover. Also look at a break of 950 to cover some at 940, and then hang back into that 910 level. So MRIN, that short off of 10, we finally get it. Look, that's the thing. Like, if you take a hit on this one, or first I miss an awesome opportunity that I said I wanted. Then I take a hit on it. Don't get too far away from your actual trading idea. And the real one I liked was off of 10. So you've got to be able to get back into that trade, rinse and repeat, do whatever you like to do with it. Or Fazime, on the other hand, first short good. We take the breakdown at 8. That's been absolutely garbage. I still have some shares from 830. That's why I see it in 805 average price. As it gets back into VWAP, this is the point where I can start thinking about, I should start getting on the offer. As I say it, at 819, I try to hop on the offer there on Orphazyme, play that one in front of VWAP. We'll give it back to 840. If that breaks, we're out of Orf. MRIN just bounced hard off 950, so might retest that 975.
Okay, so here we go, man. We're trying to be Superman on this because if we get this hold on Facebook, that'd be pretty sweet. So I told you we were looking at this name. It comes up to 352 now. It's trying it one more. We were flat on this trade. So if you're nervous about it, we literally are flat on the trade. Well, we just were upside. We're long at 351.70. We were just in the money actually when it went up to 93, 94 there. So Facebook, you can take your profits if you see fit on this one. But here it comes right back to the downside. Look at the NASDAQ. Remember, it's just going to follow this. NASDAQ starts to run. Facebook starts to run, and then if this fails downside, at least we know why we're wrong on that. So let's just watch out. I just want to bring it to everyone's attention because it did get right back to flat there. We didn't take it. I'm still waiting for that 350 to break. Just like we talk about giving, room to some of these stocks, you got to do it just because otherwise, like, you can't just take, 5 cent hit, 10 cent hit. Like, it depends on the name, of course. But like on a Facebook, even 50 cents, man, the spread opens up to like 20 cents when it moves, right? So you got to be very, very careful. We may get out here at 350. The NASDAQ heading to the north side, south side. Sorry, Brendan, give it to us.
Yeah, NASDAQ going red here. Just saw Workhorse trying to go green to red as well. We got up as high as 17.90.18, top end of the range over here, but trying to go back to negative here for WKHS.
I'm actually it's not that I just remembered, but I'm reminding myself that I am sitting on the bid on Facebook. If this breaks 350, I think I'm going to get that 347 area to get back into this. Well, sorry, to get into this one for the first time on a dip buy. MRIN, that's a strong signal here. So the first short look was obviously going to be a good one the first time through. The second time through, the reason why I wanted outs in front of VWAP is because that is a strong pattern. You hold that 830 double bottom. On this short, I wanted to cover it low of the day. On this short, I want to be covering in front of VWAP. We can't even get through 950 for the time being. So the retest of that 75 area just happened. Okay, well, you know what? Okay, that's fine. It does work out for me. What I was trying to get at is when it retested that 75 where we got in the first time, if that test doesn't take out the 950 level, which it just did, so it's a winning trade, but fine. If it doesn't take out that 950 level, you're really starting to think about no average in, do not take it again, don't even take it in front of 10, you get that 10-10 breakout. That's what I think was likely to happen there if that 950 held up. Buying that high on a move like this, on a stock that has already done that, 410s to another breakout, and scaring the living you-know-what out of short traders. So it didn't happen, obviously, so we can kind of be like happy about the trade. So it is a winning trade on the short on this on MRIN, but it was like, I think honestly it was probably seconds away from holding a level that could have taken it through the top. That is how razor thin trading some of these WSB names are, or squeeze names, or whatever you want to call them. That's razor thin. It holds a level like that, and I think it's taking out that high and making some fresh ones there. Now some air came out of it, and maybe you do get back into VWAP.
Okay, so we did take Wish short finally. We decided not to wait for it down to 13.75, so we're short right now at 97. So we'll do a little bit of a alert here as Wish coming to the downside right now. It's only 10 cents in the money. We're going to wait for a little bit more than that if we can get it. Maybe we should get it out at 85. I'm bidding those 81s there. That may be a little bit too down, close to the levels that we like. So we got to watch out for that one. But here it comes to the downside. Damn it, we should have maybe, that was 85 there. We should have got some out there at 85. So we'll wait on that one. But here we go, guys. Downside on Wish. So let's see. We do have that. We talked about it. It's on our sticky note at 1375 short there. So we're going to wait to that. We may get a piece out here at 85. That seems like it's the right thing to do on Wish. So again, trading everything here for you. It looks like our Facebook testing that 350. Look at the NASDAQ, guys. So again, no more averaging into this name. If it breaks, it breaks. It's gone, it's gone. We will lick our wounds on Facebook at some point here. But again, we took a was it $4? Yeah, $4, 354 to 358 yesterday. So yeah, we can withstand a $1.75 hit here if it does break to the downside. We're only out $1 right now on the trade, so not a big deal. But that 350 is such a psychological level, guys, that I don't even really want to. I don't even want to deal with it. If it breaks it, it breaks it. I just hope to get out at a decent price, and we will move on from that one. SoFi still battling, man. We're still trying to get that one, but that's right at the day's low. I talked about it when it was up 7% that seemed ridiculous, but now we're all the way down to only up 1%. So not a great move there for SoFi today, guys. That was the name that we liked, but it never broke the 21 level, right? That's what we wrote on here, 21 on SoFi. So we get caught early because we play that momentum, but our big trade doesn't happen because 21 does not break. So thank God for that.
We'll walk on a little bit of water here for that ORF. Now, MRIN still at that 950 level, so that our last out that we want to take in front of VWAP has not happened yet. It's only about like 30 cents in the money. But ORF, we do get that pop there in the VWAP, so the patience game works a heck of a lot better for this name. But after it failed on that break at 8, it only won a couple of pennies, tried to get into that bottom end of the range at 775, didn't quite get there. I'm going to take profit off in front of that 75 and then play rinse and repeat that price action. Good look, and honestly, you should hit the walk on the water for NTLA. That was a fantastic short. I should have noticed that one up at the 137 as good as it was yesterday, but now like $4 or $5 in the money. I'm not chasing that one, but in the money for anyone that did short it up there. Brendo, what's up?
Just watching Laser here, Luminar Technologies, guys. We had that, it popped up in the pre-market here, the CEO selling a bunch of shares. That was the news on this one today. We got up as high as 23. Was kind of watching this all morning. Really hasn't been doing much, but failed at 23 there. Back to day lows now for LAZR.
Okay, we just reloaded Wish here, so let's see. We don't. I got to find that reload button. It doesn't matter.
MRIN's going to hold.
Okay, it's not a big trade here on Wish, so we don't need the big stick. But MRIN, you have it up there, Neil?
So, by the way, remember what I was like, if it holds that level, so I guess it did break 950, but I'm so glad I actually went over that one for you guys. One of the reasons why I had that level of concern is the inability for MRIN to break back down to VWAP there, did pretend to a break. This entire time I was like, watch out and have a stop, make sure you have a stop. I reversed into long. You didn't have to do that, but you had to cover the short. I reversed into a long. I actually got slipped to 10.25, which is kind of nuts because my stop was, that's ridiculous. That's a lot of slippage. But anyways, I got the fill. I'll take some out every single time into a halt. I actually covered immediately half of my shares at 10.60, but now in an upward halt in MRIN. So that's one of the reasons why I was scrambling, even as it was in the money, to explain just how bullish it was going to be if this couldn't make any kind of a retracement off of that 10 level. And here we see MRIN halting to the upside. Should be open in 5 minutes or so. Maybe it's a 10-minute halt, but usually it's about 5 minutes. I will cover another quarter here wherever it reopens. I'll cover another quarter and then see where we can hold it to. Why? Because, I mean, heck, there's no levels up here, so I can't really tell you I'm looking at a level. I guess 11 even is one, and then wherever it opens.
Okay, guys, we're doing some damage here, guys, on the big boy stocks. Palantir, 2680 now to the upside. Let's just keep on going here. This is the name that we always talk about every single day. We buying the dips into 2650. So here we go again, man. A nice win for us on board right now on Palantir. Long 66s here, guys, on Palantir now. So good trade there. Facebook trying to hold up. We're looking at everything. AMC, we've already cashed. We already cashed out. I should have got more long. We'll look at a 58 level a little bit later. On AMC. We'll try to check out that. Snapchat battling back. Facebook trying to be strong, trying to hold that 350 level on this NASDAQ. Move back to the upside. We'll try to cash in on that one. And then Wish. We reloaded on Wish there at 14. So we talked about that as well. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. Only one short and one banger here with Palantir. So really happy today. It's been a good day for us. Pretty much all winners. The only loser, only one loser we have it on right now, and that's Facebook. So we're going to go 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 today, including a nice trade. Neil shorted that ORF greatly. We went long early and took our
Ain't
profits.
Great yet.
Okay, soon to be great, hopefully. Took a short, took a long, out there on ORF early. So just to review some of those trades. As Palantir, man, this is the one, guys. We're walking on water. We're spitting it out. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for joining us every single day. Let's go, Palantir.
I think we're gonna go. I think it's 10:20. So you guys haven't told me yet. So we're not quite ready for Brendan yet. But I just want to note it's likely to happen. It might happen while we're at Brendan. We're gonna open back up in maybe 2 minutes on MRIN. So just to go over, I'm covering half on the wherever it opens, but I'm in the money on that long. So you can hold this knowing you're with the momentum on an upward halt. I always cover something on the reopen. It's a liquidity event. I think it's a good way to manage risk. So I'll cover another quarter here, wherever it happens open, then hold the rest, probably through an 11 break. Now we're ready for Brennan and our small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Let's have a look at a few that were moving around in the pre-market. BSQR, one of those was up significantly. 480 to 520, that high up there was 520 just before the open this morning. It has come off significantly since then, back to 4. But it seems like someone's buying a lot of shares in front of 4. It's broken a couple of times, but keeps popping right back up. So 4, a bit of a line in the sand here for BSQR in a bit of a range, kind of 440, 450 down to 4. VERB, another one, a bit of a sleepy trade, just grinding to the downside. This one only $1.50. Lots of liquidity in this one, so you can load up if you would like on that one, but just grinding to the downside. This AUUD, I talked about it just before the open here. This one very, very thinly traded. This is what happens when you start getting into some stocks with small floats that are highly shorted. This thing halted to the upside on me, so I got out just before the halt, thankfully. And then a little bit on the long side here up around this 9, but ends up being high of day. So the high of day ends up getting rejected, comes back below VWAP here, 825. So trying to work this back to the downside again. A bit of a wild one though, that AUUD. Guys, back over to you.
So MRN hasn't opened yet, but I just realized I made a mistake on my. I always write like on my iPad here. One of the things I always note for the small caps is if it's a ridiculously low float, I put that note down. And I didn't trade AUP today, but I'm actually kind of thankful that I didn't because I failed to make that note, and that can make a difference because look, I'm always more likely to roll into like a 930 short trade on one of those stocks if it has a decent float and I think it'll be some liquidity. I forgot to make that note, so I might have dodged a bullet. I thought any second now we're going to be opening up an MRIN. I'm going to get some out the second it does. But there we go. Actually just opened. Oh, that's going to look like a horrible out. I got 1070. Look, it's a winning trade. But that 11 even immediately being tested. If it breaks 11 and looks like it's going to halt to the upside again, I will just cover. But I'll give this one a little bit of room. I've already profited on this trade. I'll give it all the way back to like a break-even type of idea if it doesn't want to break. And that's because I've taken a bunch out. If I had covered nothing, I would definitely be covering some here as it clusters, but an 11 break, I'm going to let it ride, just not through another halt. Another halt, and I'm looking to reverse into a short at some point when these things start halting, so there's no way I'd hold to a second halt on the long. But it's been a good one. Talked about why it could be a big-time reversal. Thankfully, I was able to get a decent fill, even though I got slipped by 17 cents, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So just to look, guys, here we have Wish. We will take another short, but we are bouncing off this VWAP, so it's not looking, like the most spicy trade out there right now. That is Wish. So it did come all the way back down again. We just didn't cash it out. Like we just didn't have bids there. We should have. We were getting a little too greedy there with Wish. We actually did put one. Crazy. We did put one at 91 on display. It went to 91 and didn't fill us. So that's fine. But we are noticing that now that it's sticking upside. So we will try to catch a little bit out. I'll keep that 91 bid. I don't see why it doesn't hit that. So one more try through. We are going to cash out. Like if Wish is going to be wrong, then it's going to be up here at 14.25. We're not just going to scalp this out like for 3 cent hit or anything on here on Wish. We're going to wait. I mean, VWAP is 14.03, so that, if you want to take that out, you can. Again, depending on how your style of trade suits you, watch out for Wish. But for me, I'm going to wait for more downside on this one, and hopefully we can bang out a winner on this as it's starting to come back down a little bit. We're short 99s, so, I mean, wherever long it goes there. Yeah, that's right, man. The Bulls are kicking. They kick every single day. I guess that's for MRIN,
If you can't, honestly, if you can't beat them, join them. You guys have seen me get blown out of shorts all the bloody time on the show. And if you're ever short small caps, it's going to happen to you. I said one thing I have to get better at is looking for the reversals. You can't dodge the chicken one. There's no dodging the chicken cannon. There's no dodging the chicken. The other one, the sausage cannon, I can get out of the way of like Neo in the Matrix. I just threw you guys in the chat. If we broke 11 again, I would trail it to the previous halt price. I actually just thought it was, that was weird. Okay, as I'm saying it, it just tested 12, and I'm going to cover at 11.50. it actually looked like it was going to halt again. I was like, I should get out of it. And then it didn't halt for whatever reason, or didn't enter the halt state. But I'm going to get out that 1150. It was a big reversal. I'm glad we had a chance to sort of talk about why, and I think I said shorts would be crapping their pants. I meant to say shorts would be shitting their pants. And I meant to use that word. That's what you should say when this reversal the second time can't get anywhere near VWAP, right? So that's not a situation where I said, no way are you averaging back into it. As good as that level looks in front of 10, and it is definitely going to be a reversal into the long. At this point, I'm now looking for a short again. But that's because we've had a halt trade. We've had a parabolic move up. It's a totally different scenario at this point. So the big long win has happened. Now I'm looking for either another halt to the upside, which I guess we're not getting here, or potentially just a flush back through that 1060, which was that previous halt price. I'm not going to get top wick ever on a move like that unless it's at an actual halt. It didn't. I thought we were going to halt up here. That's why it spooked me out of it. I didn't want to hold through a second halt in. ORF has not halted. So is it coming back in? I kind of told you guys there, look for that turn. ORF, Sean was like, yeah, it looks like a good short. I mean, the break at 8 was no good. I mean, it's at 8 even right now. So technically speaking, those shares are flat. But shorting off VWAP has been okay. But this isn't really a success unless we hold below 8, test the 775 level. Remember 775 here? There's a reason I have an offer just above it, and then on momentum, one just below it. So I kind of want to cover all my bases in case it holds that level. I want to cover a third there. If it breaks it, I want to cover on the momentum, and then see if you can't get a retest a lot lower than that. 720 is a monster support level on ORF. If it gets down to that price, I don't see any way around it. I'm probably going long on ORF.
What about this idea, guys? Before we go to Brendan, I just want to give you guys a quick update. We do get that wish trade. So I wish I was a baller. I do wish I was a little bit taller. But Brendan has something else for us.
I found an earnings name, guys. There was one earnings report aftermarket yesterday. Jefferies in the financial group as well. Jeff here in New York, up 9% today. You can see a nice move aftermarket coming up to 35. I was just checking. Looks like that wick might have been aftermarket or pre-market possibly, because we're in all-time highs now. So I guess that was off hours. But nice look for Jeff, guys.
Oh, Jeff. Okay, Palantir, nice. Yeah, we'll look at that to Jeffries. We have a member of our team, a new member of our team, Jeff. So what's up, Jeff, if you're watching? 26.90 now. Palantir just continues to go to the upside, man. You guys wanted it a while ago. We're going to do it now. V, what's up, V? Let's go. There we go. This is what we're talking about. You see V's head in the background there. You can't see her through the computer there, but there it is, guys. You wanted that animation. You got it. So there it is. The... I guess, I don't know what words we're allowed to say, but Neil already sort of blew that out of the water with the last time. So we could say weed smoking guy. I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but there it is. The weed smoking animation. So on that one, we like that tune right there. So Palantir, man, feeling ways on that one. We'll just do it one more time. We love this Palantir as it just continues to go to the upside. Nice move. We'll see if we can get back to 27. We continue to cash out, man. Palantir, my number one stock today as it continues to ride with us here. So let's go Palantir. Man, every day, all day on this name, baby.
I don't get to a name. I saw someone was like, "Yeah, Neil, you missed out on Occidental with the move in oil." And apologies because there's a lot to get to, and we're trading a lot of different symbols. And the second Brendan mentioned the story, I looked at the Oxy chart and was like, "Oh, I see an interesting level up here because it was at 3250 top." We're testing it again. Well, okay, we're not testing it yet. We tested it again in the pre-market yesterday with a hard rollover, but we're looking like we're about to test it. And look, I'm not saying it's an absolute guarantee we're going to get this 33 level in today, but we're getting relatively close, and it looks like it's going to be solid resistance up there. So if we get a little bit higher, and we're running out of time here to actually make that strong of a move, because it's kind of odd that I think that would happen between 10:30 and 11. So unlikely we get that kind of a push. Maybe it's an afternoon type of idea, but we always have to have in the back of your mind, even if you made that coin, even if you looked at Coinbase, of course, I say you make that coin when I missed out on the Coinbase trade that we were looking for. But even if you made your money for the morning, look for those opportunities. Oxy is on my radar, guys, if it gets to that 33 for rollover short. And it's not to bet against oil. I just feel like those resistance levels are pretty solid on a lot of those names. Brendo?
10:30, guys, coming up in 15 minutes. We have another great guest coming through. Filament Health. Ben Lightburn, the CEO, going to tell us a little bit about Filament Health and their approach to the psychedelic medical industry. So stick around again. Coming up in 15 minutes, guys, for Filament Health. In the meantime, let's get a check on what's happening over in Europe. Miss V is watching what's going on over there. 1 hour left. V, what's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are positive today. Electrical equipment company Rexel trading in Paris is up more than 4% after raising its 2021 profit guidance. Back to you.
Yeah, trying to get back into positive territory here as well, guys. Back to you.
All right, Italy, Belgium, but we're going to go Mamma Mia anyway.
That's already started.
It's not today. As we go to the upside right now with Palantir, man. How about 30 cents? How does that sound for you guys now on Palantir? So we are taking that one long and strong on Palantir right now, up to 92, guys. We emptied out the chambers here. Look at this, bang, 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 all the way to the upside there. We're able to take profit because it's sized properly, right? You don't take, if you're going to hold it all the way down to 26.50 like I am, then you don't load up here. I mean, 75, this is a bigger position for sure, but then down here at 61, guys, like that is, I mean, I have the bottom, it's 26.62. I have the bottom tick today on Palantir. So that's going to be a good play. What's up, Randy? That's going to be a good play there on Palantir. So we're having a lot of fun here today, guys. Hope it keeps going. But unfortunately, we'll have to sit in the weeds on this one as Facebook breaks that 350 and no problems there, man. It gave it a go. We tried it. That's going to happen to even the best of us. So there it goes, Facebook. Now to the downside. Thank God we got out. We actually got a great out. We got 97s there, 96s. So a good little out. We crossed down with the NASDAQ routing key. So those of you guys that are here with us at Day Trade the World, you may want to check that key out as it was just a nice one for me there. Got out. And that's why, look, this is why. I can't say this enough. So I'm going to just pop, I don't know what to do here. We'll face slap this one because, again, this is about the knowledge that I'm talking about with you guys. You can hold it for whatever level you want, but when it breaks through a key level, this might come screaming back up, okay? But the point is that if I don't get that out at 350, then where do I get it out at 349.50? And then I have the bottom wick, right? So we get that out, and now we'll see where it goes from here. But I'm happy with that Facebook trade. I think it's a long now. We'll test a retest of 350.30. If we break above 350.30, we'll give it a go one more time, guys.
And I'm going to give a little bit back on MRIN, but I'm going to hit this one anyways because I just use NASDAQ scan as well. But when I talked about that good fill, and if I don't get that fill reversing into the long trade, forget about that. Getting out of the short, that's going to be a disaster on MRIN. So you want to make sure you have a reliable routing key with access to all of the different aspects of liquidity. We got back below the Hull price, so I entered the short trade. It's not going to be top wick, but this is one that I want to give back just above that Hull price. It breaks down. I got myself an average price of 45 in there, so I took one on the way down, then got some on the way up for a 45 price. Once it broke that 70, I probably should have given it a few extra cents there, but that's the idea for the structure of the trade. Always willing, and that's the thing, if you have a structure for a trade, I'm always willing to have this happen to me, guys. I don't want to give everything back, it break, and I'm not getting out to 11 even. I'm not risking 50 pennies on that one, but re-entered into the short trade after the long jailbreak on MRIN, and it's a bit range bound. This one might flush in, and it'll be back at $10, and I'll look pretty silly not hanging on to that short, but I have to have an out if I'm shorting a name that's made some moves like MRIN has. Orphazyme's the only thing we're holding here. Still, that Orphazyme, which I said, man, like it's not great yet. The trend's been pretty solid since that failed break at the pre-market high, but it is still holding about 785 here, 787 to be technical about it. Cannot seem to hold below that 8 range. Keeps on testing and testing. I got a little bit out here at 802. That allows me, if it pops back in at 830, to get more shares. But at this particular point, it's not as scary to me as, of course, MRIN was because that was pure jailbreak, but it's getting pretty close to that range where I don't want to average back into this one. There's support galore, I think, at 720. I'll hang on to what I have here. I got a couple of bids down. I think we can take those ones out and be perfectly fine. Coinbase, like I said, Coin was a bit of a missed opportunity. It's still in the midst of a range that I didn't want to be playing today. I kind of felt like if it wasn't breaking and holding above 260, that I should be playing dips off of the 250 to 251 area, 250 being the reference price and that big level on the daily, and then 51 being the breakout at the open that we didn't get because that was stupid. So if it's going to be up at the top end of the range, I'll look for a potential breakout in the afternoon off of this high, or we can catch a dip in the afternoon down in front of that 251. I don't want to get chopped around in the middle, guys. It's a way to get get punked during this time of the day. And Mike, thank you for the super chat. B Wiccan, bottom wicking. So I don't know. Apparently, Brendan, now you have to make bottom wick every single time because B Wiccan, bottom wicking. I like the way that sounds.
That's a great name. Good job there, guys, on that one. We did take another break back up of Facebook, and it went, but we got greedy. It went up another 50 cents. So Facebook breaks that 350 level again, and then tries to retest it to the upside there. So we did miss that. We are going to take a piece off if it goes back to 351, and then we'll let the rest ride and get this stock back to positive, hopefully. Just for you guys, our out is going to be 348. So if we break 348, we'll get that out. There's that little wick there on volume. We talked about that, so we found it. We were trying to be patient with it. We did get that backside. I thought it did. I thought it had legs. Like I almost didn't even offer 351 there, but we did anyways, and then it didn't hit us, so we're still in it. But we are trying to get a little bit out if it does get one more push up there off that little fail break right there of 350. It didn't fail, man. It went down to 349. What's the low of the day? 349.38. So it did go downside. So there's no doubt about that one. The only thing was I was expecting a little bit more of a move back upside right now, but here it comes. We're going to offer in the 90s. If we just have 30 more cents, then we're pretty golden here. We'll take that 60 cents right back, and then we'll hold the rest. The reason why I'm not holding it all, for blue skies is because, we have this top here at 351.50. If it's a real move back, we will take that out and we will still have half of our position. So if Facebook's the one today, that's great. I've liked it. We've liked SoFi today. I haven't been able to get out of SoFi. I'm still in that name. So we'll wait to see if that one eventually runs, but it hasn't been a great day for Facebook or for SoFi yet today. But right now we'll see if it can get going. Facebook down, NASDAQ up. That doesn't make sense to me anyways, so we're going to wait to see if it goes back to the upside. Here it comes crashing down, though. Profit taking is just abound on this name today. Give it to us, Brad.
Another one here, guys, CERE. There was positive news in the pre-market on this one as well that I did send out. Sadly, guys, this one is blocked on our system, but just made day highs, which is also now all-time highs for CERE, 103% now.
Well, I can tell you this much, with all that volume, I'm going to put it, again, our system in DTTW, we can put in a ticket, say, hey, look, it's doing volume. Usually it's really, really super low float that are protected for risk purposes that we can't trade. So I'll put a ticket and make sure we can get that access to it, because I think it's going to be a mover potentially. If Brendan mentions it, then it's got to be on the radar, at least for the afternoon show if I don't get into it. A couple of things here. I saw Scott H. Does it look like MRIN still has some upside potential? I'm looking at B Square because I missed out on this one, but MRN, I will say yes, if only because that last short I had, like the one before it, when that doesn't break down, I think it's still got some juice to the upside. Not as much as before post-halt, though. Once it's halted once and then come back in, I think it's a lower probability that you get another jailbreak. B Square, I've missed the boat on this. I had this one short in the pre-market, but I had a relatively tight stop that I didn't hang on to when it broke 478. And then at that point, I was looking for this pre-market high and a retest of 513. So I missed it, popped right back into that other level we were shorting in the 60s, fall, and now again into the 60s. So I kind of feel like I should stick to my guns here and look for it to retest that high. It's got support at 4. It's making higher lows. Eventually, you could break out that 480 point, and then you're testing the top of the day here. It's 535 in the pre-market highs, but that 515 to 520 would be that's where I'd be looking short it. Of course, this pattern could hold, and I would be wrong. Clearly, it's been a good price to be using that short. And when I take the hit on it, never average in at that particular time at 8:30. When I take the hit on it, I got away from it. I probably should have jumped right back in at those same prices because 3 times it's been a charm. I'm waiting for that 515 though.
Okay, just staring out. I just took another piece out right there on Palantir as it just ripped right back to the upside there. We did get a 90, then we just took an 87 right there on PLTR. So again, not married to any of these positions. Make sure you capture profit when they're there, and we'll just continue to do that. So that was a nice little out there. If we get lucky enough and it fades back in, then we will take that on that downside move there. Just checking back, Wish, like ever since we got into this, is basically that's Palantir. Sorry. Wish, ever since we got into this, has not really done anything at all. We were lucky enough to get those bids. We're out of half of our trade there because we got the 91 and the 92 there. Remember, we were like upset that we didn't get 91, so we put a 92, got out of half, and now we'll wait for that bottom to tick one more time on Wish, that 1375 that we did like. So that's what that is. But right now, we are ready to go over to the big screen with Brendan. He's got Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, that time. Once again, let's have a look at how the overall market is doing so far. We're up 0.18% at this point. So a positive day, but a very mixed board. I wanted to highlight first off the financial sector. So we are seeing Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, this RJF leading the way, 1.2% up to about 4%, 3.8 for Morgan Stanley. But there are a few in here that are definitely offsetting to the downside. So maybe not the strength that we were expecting coming from some of the financials today. You can see the individual banks over here. Yeah, pretty mixed story. JPM 0.8 only, Citi 1.2, Wells Fargo 0.6 to the downside, even with some positive news. So consumer discretionary shares, on the other hand, in positive territory, having a nice day. Penn National here, 2.5% to the upside. PHM is here, Nike's here, Lennar, there's NWL, TSCO, Home Depot is here, DG as well. So a lot of the retailers, a lot of the apparel makers as well, having a nice day, leading as far as advancers are concerned. Tech stocks pretty mixed as well. Wanted to mention right out of the bat here, semiconductors. Have a look at AMD, 2.7%. Once again, Skyworks here as well, 1.7%. But Intel, 2.6 to the downside, kind of offsetting. FTNT over here as well, 2.8% to the downside. So pretty mixed story right across the entire board. You can see far corner there, some of the communication stocks, TV networks and things of that nature. Viacom in there as well, all in negative territory. But overall, the market positive, guys, 0.17 to the upside. Back over to you.
So we got that CERE. It was, as Brendan said, it was restricted in our system, but it's pretty simple for us to get a ticket through to make sure, look, if it's doing this kind of volume, obviously the reasons why it restricted are no longer in play. I saw, just to mention in the chat, I can tell you guys right here, it ran into all kinds of an offer at 27. Not one big offer sitting there, but every time it spiked up, just starting to get dumped. So I said, I'm going to try and take that turn. Tread lightly. It is very low float. The stock is a big time mover here. I'm short at 83s. I'll give it to the current high of the day, which is about 50 pennies worth of risk, plus slippage, and there will be slippage through this one at 27.33. I mean, this next cluster down here is literally 25.50, like $1 down. So that's why you can risk 50. And then you're looking for, I'm not covering anything until we get like 70 to 80 cents in the money, and then see if it can't retrace. But CERE up 111%. Brendan just brought it to you, and then seconds later we get unblocked for us and able to start trading it. Like I said, be a little bit careful. I took some more ORF out, and I got to because I don't want to look that gift horse in the mouth. It can't break 8. I got to make sure I'm taking some profit in front of that 8 so I can play VWAP one more time.
Okay, yep, we love playing the VWAP, and we also love Wish, but not when it's going to the upside. So get ready, man. We just took another spot. We're going to get out here if it does break through that 25. So, we identified it. It's a fine trade for us. We're not in trouble at all with this position. We will just give back the money that we made, which sucks. We never want to do that, but Wish right now, trying to make it to the upside right now, and we're just waiting for that 14.25. So that's our breaking spot. You got to have those, guys. Remember, we talked about that all the time. If you don't have your outs, then what do you really have, right? So you got to watch out for those levels, possibly breaking 14.25. Looks like Context Logic just going up, up, up and away. So bye-bye to you. Hopefully, again, like I said, hopefully we can able to capture a little bit of profit on it if it does retrace, but I don't know. Right now it's looking too strong for that one, so that's going to be one of our trades right there. Facebook just still hovering around 350. We are getting ready for our guest of the day, so that should be a good one as well. And then right now SoFi just can't get going, man. It may even turn red on the day, so the Wall Street bump doesn't seem to be working, but what a good trade that was early if you're able to get out around that 21. We talked about that when it was up that 7%. We were like, oh my God, that's a good opportunity to get out. So it comes all the way back to the downside. We're still trying to play off that 19. So I will take another average in right now on that, because you see yesterday, these 19 levels are right here. So we have a reason to do it, and we're going to do it. So SoFi will take a nice little bid downside now. See if we can't help this, not help it, not going to do anything about it, but see if it wants to get back up off that 19 bottom. So I'm looking at SoFi. I like it off that 19. So let's take a little more long now and get a better average price, guys.
And we're getting very, very close. We're only a couple minutes away here, but that CERE, I tried to get some out here on the south side of 26, but it cannot seem to break. So a bit of a strong pullback, or bounce off this muted pullback here off of 26 even. As long as it can hold a cluster below 26.75 in this particular case, I'm not going to go ahead and move my bid. I still think we get this shot here. We're only talking about $1 retracement on a stock that was $12.57 at the close yesterday. And if you go back into the pre-market when it did make its first jailbreak, you're talking about $18. So it's not asking a ton for $1. But I'm only risking about 50 cents on this trade. But you guys have been waiting patiently, and we got another fantastic guest for you. The best interviewer on, well, I'll say in the world, forget about on YouTube. Brendan Wickens is standing by with our guest of the day.
Thanks so much. Yeah, let's jump right into things here. Filament Health joining us today. Ben Lightburn, CEO and co-founder of Filament Health, here with us. We're going to talk about an all-natural approach to the psychedelic industry and the extraction process that is involved in an all-natural approach. Ben, great to have you on the show. Tell viewers first off, to start things off, we should clarify, maybe the difference between, traditionally how companies approach this and taking an all-natural approach.
Well, thanks, Brandon, and that's a great question. Traditionally, actually, it's important to remember that these substances were all consumed from the natural world, right? Indigenous people for thousands of years would go out and collect raw plants, vines, herbs, mushrooms in particular, and over time they identified which of these species contained different psychoactive compounds, and they would use those for a variety of purposes. Now, when these same compounds and species were discovered by the Western world, it so happened that they were discovered by a pharmaceutical chemist named Albert Hofmann, and he was an expert in creating processes of chemical synthesis to recreate these naturally occurring compounds, but in a laboratory setting. So he found the different permutation and combination and a wide variety of different steps that were required to kind of form the building blocks and build these compounds like psilocybin in a lab, in an artificial synthesis process. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with those processes. They can be inefficient. They can have some kind of unwanted byproducts, and some of the base chemicals used are known to be toxic. At the end of the day, though, the products are showing to be safe and efficacious. What we do at Filament, however, is we take these raw materials. In our case, in our manufacturing facility, there you see a nice picture of B+ mushrooms being grown and harvested. We take the original raw materials, we grow them in our lab, and then we employ various processes of extraction, purification, standardization, to yield a pharmaceutical grade product, which is actually extracted directly from nature itself. We believe that doing things the natural way brings a number of advantages. Number one is simply that there's a very, very strong and undeniable consumer preference for natural products in all aspects of their life, right? How many people prefer to take synthetic caffeine? How many people prefer aspartame over stevia or monk fruit extract? Things of that nature. And while in the pharmaceutical market, there might not be a lot of room for consumers to have choice between a synthetic or a natural product, in any other future non-pharmaceutical market that opens up, we expect natural products to be the clear choice for therapists and patients alike.
All right. So the obvious question here, Ben, if you're taking this on, from an investor side, is what is the downside? Obviously, if the entire industry is working one way, and you try and come at this with an all-natural approach, which is great, obviously, but what's the downside? Is it a longer time period? Is it higher costs? Tell us a little bit about what sets this process apart from the other.
A great question. You are the best interviewer on YouTube, if not in the world. I would say that there are many small and perhaps perceived downsides, but there are no large drawbacks that that fundamentally negate the natural approach. You'll hear synthetically focused companies say, well, natural is too expensive. It's too hard to standardize. It's not GMP. The FDA will never approve it. You can't get any intellectual property protection. And while there is a small element of truth in all of those things, in aggregate, we believe that they are more or less falsely held, especially by many in the psychedelics industry. Just to take an example, over 40% of all new pharmaceutical products are discovered in the natural world, or remain natural to this very day. The largest selling cancer drug of all time was actually a natural extract from the Pacific yew tree, a compound called paclitaxel, marketed under the brand name of Taxol. Perhaps the biggest thing that we hear is lack of intellectual property protection, because at the end of the day, these are naturally occurring molecules. It's true, it's not possible to get a patent on the molecule itself, natural or synthetic. However, due to prohibition for 50 or 60 years, there really has been no research or much in the way of publications or really anything in the patent literature pertaining to all of the technologies I mentioned that we employ to turn a raw natural biomass into a pharmaceutical grade extract. I'm talking about processes of extraction, purification, standardization, compositions of matter for different delivery methods. None of those technologies have been discovered or described. And our IP portfolio, which we describe as robust and aggressive, covers many different innovative technologies in this unique space of different technologies required to make these pharmaceutical grade extracts. So in fact, we think that the natural approach actually provides much better opportunities for IP protection for the end products.
Let's talk a little bit about the supply side of the business here, because it's one that is continuing to grow almost on a daily basis and has almost unlimited upside potential. So tell us about the processing facility, the license currently held, and how Filament Health is really approaching the supply side of things.
So one thing that really sets us apart, other than being natural, of course, is the fact that we actually have in-house manufacturing. So this is not something that many other companies have. Companies like Compass and MindMed, they even emphasize that they're going to outsource the manufacturing. We believe very strongly that having manufacturing in-house gives us a much better control over the product, and crucially, a much better chance to discover what's the next best psychedelic that's going to come. Right? There's no rule that says that psilocybin is the best psychedelic. There's no rule that says that psilocybin is the best psychedelic, from within the magic mushroom. So we worked very hard to build a facility, lease a facility. It's 3,500 square feet. We have what's called a Health Canada dealer's license. This is what's required to manufacture controlled substances like psilocybin. We also have GMP certification. And what this means is we can make clinical trial candidates for our own clinical trials, but also potentially supply other companies in the industry that wish to do clinical trial drug development with a natural sourced option. Not only does it give them the ability to work with natural products, but for companies that may be running up against this problem of how do I get IP, remember, all of our extracts are protected by various trade secrets and patent applications, and hopefully very soon actual issued patents. And so we can share in this intellectual property with third-party drug developers to try to provide them with some protection when their eventual therapeutic product gets approved. Already in our facility, we are manufacturing the equivalent of 5,000 high doses of psilocybin per month. So in a year, we can more than comfortably cover all of the psilocybin that's been legally administered in any clinical trial and build up a large stock for all future clinical trials. So supply right now, as of today, is certainly not an issue.
You mentioned the importance of intellectual property in this industry. Let's touch on the technical side of things one more time. The proprietary aspect and the proprietary approach to this method specifically going forward. Where do you see this as far as growth potential, specifically for some of this tech that's used in this process?
Right now, the market share, it's such that it is, if maybe you could make an analogy by the market capitalization of the naturally focused companies compared to synthetically focused companies is very, very small. And if we want to change that, we're going to have to give our best shot, and that includes very, very strong IP, which we believe we've done. So in broad sense, without giving away too many details, we've actually figured out for the first time how to make pharmaceutical grade formulations of natural psilocybin extracts and other psychedelics. So we spent a long time researching in the lab. We went through a process of elimination to identify all of the potential extraction methods that exist. And we filed for patent protection on all of them in order to give ourselves as strong of a moat as possible. Like I said, without these kinds of strong moat and relatively aggressive tactics, it's not going to be possible to peel away any kind of market share from a synthetic operator. So, we believe that we're very well positioned to do that and partner with other companies that want to take market share away from synthetic and grow the presence of natural in the psychedelic market.
A brand new listing on the NEO exchange, FH, guys, if you want to check out the ticker here in Toronto. What is to come next, Ben, for Filament Health?
You mentioned last week's listing. That was obviously a major milestone for the company, for the team. So obviously, I want to thank everyone involved. But obviously, we're not stopping there. We're not the very first psychedelics company to go public or to publicly list. But what we did do is we built an actual real good company with operations and manufacturing and IP and staff and all these sorts of things before we went public. Now it's a question of making the world aware of all the things that we've done and all the things that we plan to do. over the summer, we're expecting some very exciting news based on very good communication with the Intellectual Property Office here in Canada. We're expecting some very good news related to our intellectual property portfolio, as well as some news relating to our clinical trials. Not only are we seeking to partner with other companies, but we're very excited about our own clinical trial drug development program. We will be conducting at the University of California, San Francisco, the very first FDA-approved clinical trials using naturally extracted psychedelic substances. One of these trials is actually going to employ a compound from the magic mushroom that has never before been employed in a FDA-approved clinical trial. This is because many people in the industry, synthetic or natural, both assume that it's not even possible to manufacture a stable formulation of this compound. We think that the compound is actually better than psilocybin. As I said before, there's no rule that says that psilocybin is the best psychedelic, even within the magic mushroom. So over the summer, we're expecting lots of exciting results about clinical trial approvals, first dosing, and like I said in the beginning, news about the intellectual property patent portfolio progressing towards many different approvals.
And CEO and co-founder of Filament Health, FH, guys, on the NEO Exchange, if you want to check out the ticker symbol. A pleasure to speak to you today, Ben. We look forward to an update in the future.
Thanks, Brendan.
There we go, guys. Filament Health, an all-natural approach to psychedelics, guys.
Awesome name. Filament in the name, like it's a bit of a nerd play there. But look, a lot's going to be happening. Another fantastic interview. I know we only have a couple of minutes to go here, but it's always about learning. And a couple of things that we talked about, like, okay, I'm in that CERE, but I want to get to as well on the education tip after that. We talked a couple of times here about MRIN and how it looked like it was jailbreak time. I had this, I didn't have a strong feeling when that last short broke out there, broke to the downside. I couldn't make that hold. I said, yeah, it could be a bit bullish because when these shorts don't follow through into VWAP, that's a pretty strong trend. It wasn't enough to get me into the long. That's one thing I regret. Part of it was I was looking at CERE, but if a stock is a mover, I'm not mad that I got into CRE because it is moving, and it could be a good one if it rolls over here. But MRIN just continues its jailbreak. It took out that high. It didn't halt here, which I kind of thought it was going to be another halt style idea. At this particular point, there has not been a trade halt to the upside. If it breaks 13 in the next couple of seconds, or I guess couple of minutes, you might see something like that into 14 on a halt, and then I would be looking for a turn. For now, I don't have any levels to the upside, MRIN. Making dreams come true for longs. I just wish I'd found my way into a second long because the first one was so good. Watch out for that halt. That next halt could be a bit of a turn. It did not signal one necessarily the first time. Second time through with this kind of move, I think it might.
Okay, so yeah, good, great job on the interview there. Great job trading today, Neil, Valeria. Thank you for all your help. Thank you for everybody today. It was a good one. Just to let you guys know, out of 2/3 of this, Facebook, we are going to hold a third. That was a big win for us. 350.30 out, 351.50. So remember we talked about, first of all, I always trade around the 50s. You guys know that. And then so we talked about getting out at this top here, which was 351.70. And that was basically the top of this whole move. Why we held a third of it? In case we got that runner, right? NASDAQ came all the way back. So we do put some money back into our pockets here with Facebook. If it can come up to VWAP, then we will actually wind up being flat on the day for Facebook. Although we did, take a beat down right there. I mean, it wasn't bad. We talked about that. We only averaged in twice against that 350, but then we went re-long again and out there. So look, this was a $1.70 hit. This trade was 350.40 up to 351.40. So we make the dollar back. That's what I'm talking about. We just need a little bit of a bump back upside and we can be flat on the day. So nice recovery there. Happy it happened for sure on Facebook. Brendo.
Not sure it's going to matter much, but we do have, guys, some earnings to talk about coming up both after market tonight and before the open tomorrow.
I think people are going to look at we're going to look at Bed Bath & Beyond, if only because the squeezes, the short squeezes, whatever you want to call them, Wall Street bets. It's not doing much today, except for the fact that it sold off the open going those earnings. But any kind of an uptick, it is still heavily short interest. So we're going to be watching Bed Bath & Beyond just because of that. I do feel that I'm going to be a little bit more interested in. There's actually a couple of big IPOs tomorrow. One of them's Tasty. coming back to market is Krispy Kreme. And then the other one's actually a bigger name, Didi, which is a ride-sharing company in China. That's a massive IPO, should be a big one, and a good one as we watch into that trade. I think that's going to be very, very exciting. But we got to quickly get to Miss V because it's already 11 o'clock and what national day it is. Because, oh my goodness, my mouth is watering.
Hey guys, I hope you're having a good day so far. I just want to remind you to double check if you liked this video, guys. We need your support as much as never. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and come back at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time to trade the close together. And happy National Almond Butter Crunch Day, everyone. It looks so good.
That looks so good.
Yep, sign me up. We like that. That looks a little too sweet for me, but I love the almond, love the crunch, and love everything about that, guys.
There's almost, okay, there is such a thing as too sweet, but that is not, because I would go all day, every day. Oh, why not? Breno, what do you think?
Another one that surprisingly I have never heard of before, but it looked really good. Sure.
We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it 3 times. And I'm glad a fantastic guest. Double down. A fantastic interview as always, Brendan. So I want to thank you for that. Some great trades this morning. Awesome opportunities there. Sean hitting a couple of bangers. And look, I promise you this much. Some of these names that you see on the board here, you know we're going to come right back at 3:15 and be trading a lot of them. And there could be a few new ones like the CRE. I got to thank Brendan. That was not on my radar. And then it jumped in here. It's making a good rollover as we speak. So don't get too far away because we are right back at 3:15 and it should be another fantastic close show. I mean, it always is, but you know, there can be a fantastic one here today. Randy was on the bell, so I'll say for Randy, for Miss V as well. I'm going down the line because there we go.
Let's go
for Miss V as well, for Brendan Wickens, myself, Neil Roberts, and my man Sean Catino. Let's go Facebook. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live, and we'll see you at the close.